Well, Barry, again, unless somebody logs in later, it is just me, and it is you, my medicinal herb using friend.
Yes, just the two of us. I have a grievance.
You have a grievance. We're barely live, and you have a grievance.
Yeah,
All right, go.
Before I forget about it.
Well, yeah, I
It's
mean,
these damn illegal immigrants. They come here, they squat, they attack you, they shit all over the place. Would you tell these damn Canadians to get their geese?
I was gonna say, where are we? We're going hyper political right away,
Nah,
and then little did I know you were like then yanking the rug out from underneath me with your jokes.
they're jokes.
You get a lot of
Gentlemen
geese
hit
up there.
Yeah, they're like they're supposed to be migratory, but once they find a place, they don't leave. So like around here, like coming into my development, Chetton was hit one yesterday coming back from therapy because he just walked in the middle of the road and stayed there. You know?
No.
Yeah,
So,
but we have a bit of a problem when I'm down here.
It's too cold, obviously, because the geese fly south when it's cold, right? And then they fly north back up. And supposedly they're supposed to go to Canada since they're Canadian geese. Right?
Yeah.
But where I live, next to a river and there's a lot of wetland, there are probably, there are probably hundreds of geese in my backyard. They just say, let's not go all the way up to Canada. They just stop in Minnesota. They say, this is good. We've gone far enough. So weird little factoid. Like for the longest time, scientists have tried to figure out how, like, migratory patterns and how, geese that have never been to certain areas just find their way to certain areas, and birds in general, migratory birds. And they theorize that there are and it isn't like a conscious decision, but there are like these cavities in there where nerves are and things like that tell the difference in like the air pressure, and like it helps guide them to where they're supposed to be and things like that. So I mean, it could be just a bunch of hooey for all I know. So who knows? I had a grievance. What was it again? 1 second now.
Immigrants?
No. What was it again? I don't know. I was really feisty last week, and I had my grievance that I said, like, just like if I could go back 10 years ago, I should have just done videos about computer games or video games, because that was like. But now it's like, I can't remember anymore. The last week has kind of flown by for me, just with work, and I was at Con of the North. Oh, that's right. I had a Con of the North grievance. Not that there was anything particularly wrong with Con of the North, but so Con of the North is a convention. It's like it's the one gaming convention that I have attended more than any convention. It is held always usually the second weekend of February. Usually falls close to or on Valentine's Day. It's held in Minneapolis, and it's just, I've been going to it forever. Yeah, I see the same people there every year. There's like my little tight knit group of people that are in that room, and we're just doing our thing or whatever. So this year I showed up, and like the guy that was like kind of like the event coordinator, he saw me, and like this is how weird this is. So like, how most conventions, like they're like, oh, you need a badge, you need to go sit down, you need to do this, that, and the other thing, right? I mean, I don't even remember to usually sign up for a badge because since I host a room, I host the open board game room. Like I don't need to pay for a badge. You can just get what's called a judge's badge, and then you just get one for free, right? And so I forgot to sign up for it, which no big deal, whatever. I show up, and this is going to sound big-headed to me, but the guy actually sees me. He's like, "Hey, I got your room for you," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I thought I was going to be in this room that I was always in, but no. So like like a hotel usually has just like a large restaurant area. So what they did was they cut like the restaurant area in half, and like basically gave me half of the restaurant, which was cool because it was big and wide open, big tall ceilings, and like just good area. I mean, it was a little disjointed because it was like in the like buffet slash salad bar area. So like there was like this weird like middle place where like there was no food being served there, but it was just sitting there kind of thing. Strangely, like dinner rolls kept on showing up at one of the tables, and people would just go over and eat them. I mean, it was weird. It was just like maybe the hotel didn't realize or something. I don't know. But on both Friday and Saturday night at this convention, they always have a pasta bar at this hotel. And basically the way it is you go up and you pick your pasta noodles you want. You get like whatever like veggies you want in your pasta. You get your sauce or whatever. And you go over, and there's these basically these cooks who put the noodles in some olive oil, and they stir them up, and they have and they add all the seasonings and stuff, and it's like you get to see them making your stuff while you're doing it. It's kind of cool, and it's really good. I mean, it's like $25, but I mean, it's hotel prices, whatever. Well, they were like, well, we don't have the pasta bar in this area. We're gonna have the pasta bar in this other part of this restaurant, and so my daughter was with me, and so we went to go to the pasta bar. And instead of like having a place where they like mixed it together, they just basically had kind of like a little tiny buffet where it was like one big pan being heated by sterno was the noodles, and one was like some onions, and just basically, and nobody was mixing it up for you or anything like that. But it was still pretty, like, it was still good. It wasn't as good as before, but oh my gosh, there were a lot of people that go to that convention because like they basically rent out the entire hotel. I mean, it's a fairly big hotel. It's just a it's a Crown Plaza. It's like, so it's nothing super fancy, but the entire hotel is filled with gamers basically. And oh my gosh, were people upset with me because they didn't have the pasta bar those nights. And I had more people I don't even know, like people who don't even go there and play board games are like, yeah, so why did you take our pasta bar away from us? And I was like, I didn't pick the room. I had no idea, but I had to field like at least a half a dozen people who were very annoyed that they didn't get their really good pasta bar. And I was like, it isn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry. It was rather annoying. And yeah, just that was I and every time I go to this convention, I have a good time. And but it's about afternoon of Saturday, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I could save myself like $450 if I just didn't come here and I just decided I'd play board games with my friends all weekend. And it would almost be like it would be a better deal. Of course, I probably wouldn't play as many board games because I played a ton, and it was really fun watching my daughter was teaching people how to play the games that she knew and stuff like that. And yeah, so it was just like, it's just it's one of those things where I enjoy it, but like any other convention, after I've been there for like a day and a half, I just want to be home because I don't know. I always want to be home where my stuff is, so I don't have to worry about anything. So I don't know. What's the last convention you went to? It's got to be like Origins.
No, the last one was it was the first Unplug, PAX Unplug.
Oh yeah. Because you're right there. You're like
Yeah, I'm in 45 minutes, an hour away.
You need to get one of them. You need to get a scooter that you can go. You can go to that one again this year.
I don't know. It's kind of defeat to me. We were talking about that, like about driving. They were saying because the right foot, neurologically, I still get spasms and all uncontrollably sometimes. So driving's kind of iffy with my right foot still.
All right.
There's this adaptive thing you can put under the pedals, or a stick thing that you could use to control your pedals. But this adaptive thing, I could use my left foot to, drive, basically. And I'm up in the air with that because to me it's the feet. It's like.
Wouldn't it be the legs?
Yes. So the scooter's the same thing. If I get a scooter, it's the feet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's that then. Do you miss playing the board games as often as you used to?
At times. I mean, it's been me and Jen played one or two here and there, but
yeah,
I haven't been to like beer mongers and since this a year and a half probably, and stuff like that. It's I don't miss the grind of learning new games constantly.
I agree with that 1,000%.
I do miss like the camaraderie and all that you get with the experience of the games rather than the games themselves.
Yeah. And I don't think you're missing much when it comes to conventions. I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, the spectacle that is Gen Con is just kind of fun to be there and to see all the people. But I mean, honestly, man, if like I've said this before, if I didn't work in the industry, I wouldn't go to many conventions. Yeah. I might go to like Origins because it's like big but it's small, yeah, I might go and attend. I mean it'd be one of those things where it's like I would go to like two like small ones, like I'd go to like maybe Dice Tower West and like PAX Unplugged or something like that, and then do that, or I would just go to Gen Con, because I'll say this: when I went to Gen Con last year, when I had just been let go from TMG, and I was able to go there and just go there not working and just be able to just kind of wander the crowd and hang out with my daughter and talk to people. I mean, we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we still, both of us were like jonesing to be home, and I was glad to leave when we left I mean, oh yeah, that's right. Actually, one of the nicest things we did was Monday morning, like our plane didn't leave until like 4. So like we got up and we were able to just kind of wander around Indianapolis for a while, my daughter and I, and that was kind of fun. I mean, it was just like we went and checked out like some cool, like looked in, like we bought some like crackers and fed birds and found like a cool little like one of those, like we serve breakfast during like the middle of the day kind of place, but it wasn't like a Denny's or something. It was like some like specific restaurant for that, like I forget what it was called. It was like Exit 2 or something like that. It was a weird name, but I mean, that was kind of fun. But I mean, we were both really glad when we got home. It was a long time to be gone. But Gen Con's nice just because it's kind of huge and it's kind of fun to just wander around.
Yeah, I still have no desire.
No?
None. Too many people. The last Origins I was at, it was starting to feel crowded.
Yeah. What about BGG Con? You were there.
Yeah, I was there. That was okay. I was there in 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
I would like to go back to that.
I guess I'd probably always attend BGG Con. I guess. I mean, if we're going to be fair, just because of Aldi being cool and all that other stuff. So, but yeah. I mean,
that was the most relaxed con I've been to too.
Yeah.
It's not like I planned anything for any of them, but that didn't feel like it was crowded or rushed or, the vibe was chill. for the most part. PAX was, like I said, it was the first year, so it was odd. It was like people didn't really understand what it was. You know, it was a weird feeling. And I was only there, a day, I think.
Well, I mean, I guess like, see, if I had to rate, if we're just gonna be thinking about conventions here and how I'd rate them, I mean, BGG Con is my favorite, but it's one detractment. I don't even know if those are words. The one thing I don't really like about it is that it's too long. It's like you get there on a Tuesday. It's like it's almost a week. It's just ridiculous. It just.
I mean, it doesn't open till Thursday usually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most people are gaming on Wednesday and whatever. But I mean, so BGCon's the best, but it's too long. Probably the second best convention is probably Gen Con. I mean, like if you had asked me a year ago, before I went to last year's Gen Con, Gen Con probably wouldn't rate number 2. But last year's Gen Con was probably one of the most fun conventions I was ever at. I mean, combined with like the BGG Hot Games Room, combined with just like the fact that it was just a really fun time hanging out with my daughter, and the fact that I hadn't been to a Gen Con as just a bystander, for the longest time. That was really cool. If I then, besides that, I would go with I'd probably go to Origins. Then PAX. PAX just, it feels like it's not taking itself seriously, like with the non-carpeted floors and stuff like that. It's like you're at a car show, if that makes sense. And admittedly, okay, so I think it's really cool that they make everybody go through a metal detector to get in.
And that's just because it's in Philly.
Well, which is fine. But everything you've ever read about, like security like that, like security for like metal detectors and things like that, is that it is more for the illusion of safety than it is actually increasing safety in any way. It is there so people who go there feel better about being there because there's a metal detector. It's just like. And like and there's tons of articles you can dig up about that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's like June. Like I'm gonna go to Gamma here in like 3 weeks, which is okay. Gamma's fine, but it's not really a convention. Gamma is just like a weird excuse for publishers to get drunk. I mean. Just well, I mean, like the last Gamma. Admittedly, I haven't been to a Gamma in Reno. I was at a Gamma in Las Vegas, and it was like, there was like the Gamma show, and then it was just like everybody was just itching to like get out of there and head to the casino and go play craps and drink. And drink Morgan Cokes or whatever. Hey, it's Richard Ham. Let's see if I can guess the game that he's playing right now.
From this window?
Yeah, it's got dice, which is weird for a Richard Ham game.
I love dice. I just love using them instead of them using me.
Oh yeah. Is that the new Kanban by any chance?
No. Good guess.
No? Oh, okay.
Better hurry. The peanut gallery, the viewers are gonna get it. You'll be embarrassed when you if you can't get it.
Well, I can't. Oh, Scott's actually going to join us. He's going to slum for a while, I guess. Well, there's little. Oh, nice cracks there, buddy.
Thank you. Yes.
There's little gravestones there at the bottom. Man, like the resolution on your camera sucks, dude.
It doesn't actually. I don't understand why it is. I'm looking, at the live feed that the three of us see, and I'm super bright and crisp and clear, and that's video that's coming into this StreamYard, but then it leaves StreamYard and goes to YouTube and looks like crap.
Yeah, I noticed that a few times. Not only your camera, a few cameras.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in America now. I've got a really fast feed, and when I do live broadcasts, everything's crystal clear, 1080p. But somehow on this platform, I just turned to mush. Would you like a hint?
Sure.
Boop.
Well, if I could be in focus. Oh, is that? Do you have the expansion for it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
To watch what talk. Yes.
Yep.
Well, good for you. Is that the first expansion?
Hmm.
Is that out yet or yes?
Oh yeah, it came out. It doesn't. It's been out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I have it. I think I have it downstairs. I just haven't unpacked it yet.
Yeah, I only recently got it, and I'm going to cover it this month. It's very good. I'm a little bummed with how they addressed, to my mind, the one big issue with the game. I mean, I'm glad they addressed it, but I would have preferred a different thing. And that is, the notion, people are generally turned off by doing I can go to this space and do the main action, or I can lock my die up by worshiping, and that means I could get this, or I could pay to get both. But then this guy is stuck here until I spend an entire turn passing to bust everybody out. And that's supposed to be okay because players are incentivized to, I'll come along. I want to do that action and I'll bump you out. But nobody ever does because the person who bumps you out actually has to pay a penalty to do it. And it's like, look, I'm already doing you a freaking favor getting you out of here. Why do I have to pay to do you a favor? Screw that. I will wait until you leave. I will spitefully wait half the game for you to get out of there before I go to that space. And it's just crazy misincentives that the designer has given here. So what they've done in the expansion is they fixed it by, there's these new boards you can put on, because you can change the rondelle. So these new boards have look, you can unlock one of your own people if you do this action or this action or this action. It's like, okay, that's fine. Now people will be less hesitant to do half of the game, but still, that doesn't encourage that behavior in a way that also encourages interaction between players. And so I'm a little bummed by that, which I will complain about in my video, because I do actually critique videos in spite of what
You love everything you review. Remember that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I never say a bad thing about anything. You know that full well. I was never anything but roses, happiness, and sunshine for all TMG games.
Yes.
I say yes to every single game anybody wants to send me. Of course. Oh, wait, that's all lies by people who just don't give a damn and want to tear me down and make my life miserable.
See, I always loved that aspect in Manhattan Project, which is still one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, because of the I don't want to call my people back because I don't want to give you access.
I'm not giving you your neutral back.
I'm not giving or the
this
neutral
is my building now.
Well, plus the neutral workers, right? So you can't hire them.
But I'm in the building now. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Too bad. Manhattan Project you can be mean to people, so you.
It is. Well, but that's why Manhattan Project Energy Empire is so wonderful. It kept that, but jettisoned all the. Yeah. Well, okay. You won't get out of my building. Well, then I will bomb your buildings into the Stone Age. Okay, well,
you didn't really bomb them. It didn't destroy him. It just
shoot your bombers out of the sky. Not that any of that ever happens. It's just all about escalation. It's very Cold War centric. It is all about mutual deterrence and all of that because it's way too expensive to really go to war. But yeah, there's just always that ever-present threat of, I could bomb you into the Stone Age.
I love the espionage.
Get the fuck out of my building.
Yeah, I love going in and using people's buildings. It's like, wait a minute. We are new. We are helping. I didn't hear you. We are transfer scientists from the Greater Slovenia. Yeah.
Now it's more obvious what it is. Now that I'm
yeah.
What is it? Expansion?
It's the pretty classic one that came out last year. I only just got it.
What? Wow.
I'm pretty hurt that everybody was like, "Oh, good." Scott,
well, that's what happens when I don't have 100,000 subscribers. So
I don't get that. That works for either sometimes. We have to buy stuff sometimes. Have you played? Had you not played it before?
No, the expansion. No, I played the original.
Oh, the original.
So I've just played the expansion with Jen right before she took off, and I was going to film it today, but ran out of time, so I'll film it tomorrow. The expansion, which overall I like, but I was just complaining. I do think they could have gone about fixing some of the core problems with the original game in a better way than what they did.
Right.
But that's okay.
Right.
So, I played the solo game today with this little pyramid off to the side. Actually really cool. I liked it.
Scott, you're slumming and you're joining us today. What's the occasion?
I was here last week. Wasn't I?
Oh yeah,
after I left. Oh, that's right. I left. So
you left. It left me a spot. So I mean, it's not like we could.
Yeah. Well, Travis told me he was not feeling well and he was super tired, so he wasn't going to be able to join us. Plus, he said he didn't have any more cooking brandy to drink while he was on.
So he's a unicorn. We'll just see him once in a.
No, he said he'd like to come back on more often. He's just with all he's burning the candle on both ends with all the 27 jobs he has to have now to have the same earning that he had when he was with Colossal. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Though I think he is going to send me a copy of Ruination to play before they launch, which I'm excited to play that. That looks pretty cool.
The Kickstarter hasn't launched yet?
No, it's next month.
He's just doing. Okay.
It's like March 12th or something.
Man, it seems like I've seen so much about it. I guess that's just him doing a lot of, or them doing a lot of.
There's lots of combat and people beating each other up. I think you'd enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like that sounds like 20-year-old me would be totally fine with that. But perhaps not 50-year-old me.
Yeah. We were talking about conventions.
They were 49.
What?
They were 49.
I am 50. I will turn 51 in 2 months.
Okay.
Well, thank goodness, because I am so tired of hearing about people being younger than me. So,
you're younger than
what?
I'm usually the old man.
You're like a year younger than me, aren't you, Scott?
71. January.
Yeah, but you were born January.
Oh, 1971.
Oh, yeah,
not the year.
Yeah, we're both 1971 babies, but
I don't look at
I'm
like 70, do I? What's that?
I'm the end of 1971. You're the beginning of 1971.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
Well,
Barry,
good.
I think
Barry's young.
Barry's young. Probably.
Yeah, I'm 40. 78. I'm 41. Yeah, 41.
41.
Don't you hate it? Do you guys have you ever made the mistake? You know how you make a mistake where you like forget your age and you're older or you're younger than you actually think you are, but then if you reverse that or you think you're younger but you're actually older, like when you do the calculation wrong, isn't that like the worst?
Yeah.
I had that in my late 40s, but
I did it last year.
I find that's very easy to remember.
What's that?
Well,
say again.
Oh, once I hit 50, I found that doesn't happen anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
so I
for
did it
me-
last year, and I was so like down that
Depressed.
night. Like I was depressed.
Ah.
48.
No, for me, there's two things. One, I can remember seeing my dad, and I was like, it was my dad's birthday, and I was, it's your birthday. He's like, yeah, I'm 40. He would like forget how old he was. He'd figure it out. I was like, how can? I mean, as a kid, you're like, or even when you're in like your 20s,
Yeah,
how do you forget?
I'm 9.5.
Yeah, how do you forget
Always
how
add
old
on
you
that
are?
half, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. But and then the other thing is that I remember when I turned 47. I'm 48 now, but when I turned 47, I was like, I said, this is finally like an older age, right? Because it was like when you're 45, you can say, I'm still in my early 40s. 46 is like, I'm just a little bit older than 45, but like 47 was like,
depressing.
like 50 years old is in the horizon. You can see it off there, So
I remember.
Speaking of seeing stuff on the horizon, I can get the eye surgery after all.
you gonna do it?
I'm terrified. I'm so scared.
What do you need?
I need courage.
Oh, come on.
So the problem was
Grant did his
when I went in the
with a
first
group
time,
bump.
my left eye was too dominant, so it just fundamentally didn't work. And we went back in again because Jen had to do some follow-up stuff, and I went along with her because somebody completely coincidentally on my channel had asked, "Hey, Rado, how's your eyesight? You must be getting 50. You must be getting really bad." And I explained our situation, the dominant eye thing. He said, "Well, I happen to be an optician or eye doctor guy. You should have asked him to do this." And it was basically if he reversed it, because normally you have your dominant eye do the distance vision and your weaker eye do the close vision. That's probably what you have done. That's what Jen had done. But in rare cases, if that doesn't work, you can reverse it, and it does work. And we went in, and it did work. So it was just shocking. I mean, just instantly put those weird, funky glasses on, and I see everything crystal clear up close and far away. And you're right. I mean, it's insane. Your brain just switches. You don't even think about it. It's mind-boggling. But Lance, how long were you having to just drown yourself in eye drops?
2 days.
2 days. Jen has been using them now for 3 weeks, and she's just constantly, it seems like every 2 hours, having to drop.
Did she do LASIK or PRK?
Originally, in her 20s, she had LASIK done. And so that did create a more complex situation for her, because they didn't do new incisions. They reopened her old 25-year-old incision.
Yeah.
And so that he warned that would create a longer healing period than what people normally have. And she'd have a little bit more flexibility in eye adjustments and stuff like that. Because
well, here's the deal. If when you go in, no, there's
all the deals.
Well, no, there's pros and cons. If you get PRK, you don't have to do the eye drops for as long, because
is that what you did?
Yeah, because they put actually like what's called a bandage contact lens over your eye.
Oh.
And then because instead of actually cutting a flap, what they do is they actually, and this sounds horrible, but they basically like scrape the perineal layer off. Like, so they basically just take that off, and then they fix your eye, and then they let your eye heal itself, and it just comes back. Now, the healing time on it is way longer. I mean, it's like, it'll be like with LASIK, they zap it, they peel it back, done it, put it back, and then they they suture it or whatever, and it's within like right when they're done, it's like boom, your vision is fine. With PRK, your vision is better, but you're gonna have like a lot of like weird like halos around lights, and a lot of like stuff. Like I remember like I got it done. Like I the first day I was like okay, second day I was okay, third day I was trying to work for TMG, and I was like computer screen. I was like, guys, I can't even work. I can't even see anything because my eyes were like healing. And so there was like a period of time there where I couldn't do any work. And there was even one day when my eyes got worse, and I was like, oh, this is all screwed up. And then but that was like day of my checkup, and I went in there, and the doctor took a look at my eyes, and I was like, that's the last time I used like a Groupon to get my eye surgery. But no.
Yeah, we went in with Groupon as well, by the way.
Yeah. So no, so I went in there, and then they were like, and he's like, no, it's totally fine. He said, your eyes are healing. He said, you give it 48 hours, you'll be fine. He's like, don't worry about it. And so then in 48 hours, boom. But I mean, like the itchiness. I mean, I had a buddy who had LASIK, and like he was like, "Oh man, my eyes were like, you're not supposed to rub them at all." And I was going crazy. I'm just squirting this stuff in my eyes all day long, and I thought for sure that was gonna be the thing that sucked the most. But it was like 2 days, and I was just like, the only thing that stinks is that even now. Oh, here he goes. What happened there?
Okay. You talking about games or something?
No. Sorry, I clicked something.
No,
Apparently, I have a gigantic button I can push by accident that removes me from the screen. I did not know that.
So even now, like, if on a summer day, even when the lights, when I have to wear sunglasses more often, and even on like an overcast sunny day, because I'm wearing sunglasses, and people are like, why are you wearing sunglasses? It's like, just, my eyes. It was just one of those things where it's like, and you'll have to wear sunglasses indoors for a while, which makes you look like a douche. But, but I'm sure you can pull it off and just be that cool guy sitting in the corner. But it made it really easy to sleep through my kids' Taekwondo classes. It was just like, normally it was just like, just lean back and then just take a nap for an hour. But yeah. We can talk about games now, Scott.
Well, I mean,
I will say that
game show. I don't know what the show is. I don't think we talk about games for like 6 weeks.
Right.
I can't
So
remember
before we talk about games, though, I would definitely talk about games. Scott and Barry, you are both wearing glasses. Why have you not investigated this glassless
Yeah,
future?
I need to go. It's a reader. It's not a
Oh,
picture.
you're fine. You just need it just for close-up stuff.
It's
You don't feel like
turning
you need
into
it?
more far away lately. I probably need to go get something done.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year's particular, I've noticed the vision not as good.
Yeah, the main thing that I really started noticing a few years ago was at grocery stores, I could no longer read the sign at the far end of the aisle that tells you, hey, what's here? What's in this aisle? It
You
just
drive,
became,
Richard?
huh?
You drive?
I do. And
Oh.
when I went in, I was shocked for them to tell me that actually without corrective lenses, I'm borderline illegal to drive. That my distance vision is that bad. But the thing is, my near vision it's almost totally normal inside. I was like, and that's what I use. I use that all the time. I don't really use distance vision. I can wear glasses. I mean, pretty much the only time I watch them is for when I'm driving and when I'm watching movies. And the rest of the time, I'm in kind of a soft, fuzzy world in the distance.
I can't read my phone without glasses. I mean, I can kind of read it. Like if I really, sit there and get it right.
Yeah, that would be the worst. I mean, I spend half my life with a laptop this far away from my face or phone.
Well, with readers, it's perfect. I mean, it's but whatever.
So like, there's a few of my buddies that got LASIK, but before there was monovision. So like, they just see far away, and they still have to use readers to read. And like, if we're like fantasy football, and we're like at the bar watching the Vikings play or something like that, I'll look over, and like a couple of my buddies have like basically 40-point type on their phones so they can read it here. Are you going to pick up the kids later?
Yeah, it's interesting. Phones have made me the default setting on a phone I can barely read. Right, like, but 3 or 4 years ago, I could read it perfectly fine.
Yeah,
and now, nope.
So you're thinking about it. You just haven't gotten around.
Yeah, I just got to get around to it.
And Barry, is it just you have enough shit going on, so you don't need one more thing?
Yeah, that's part of it. But I don't know. I've always had glasses. Like, I have an astigmatism. I've had them since I think I was like 4. I don't even remember when I first, started wearing them.
Oh wow.
And my eyes don't change that much. Like, I go through glasses because they're scratched up before the prescription changes. Yeah, 4 or 5 years. So, and I did look at it when I was younger, and it's like they were talking about you would need glasses for reading or whatever.
Yeah.
At the time, they were still iffy with astigmatisms. Yeah.
Oh.
So I never really, I never really thought about it.
To this day, I can remember like when I went, in grade school, they check your eyes. Like, I mean, like, and little did I know it wasn't like, oh, we need to check your eyes. It was this optometrist like paid us money to come in and check the eyes. Basically, like the school's getting a little kickback, so they can send you. And then I found out that, I mean, I had no idea I had bad eyesight. I was like in 4th grade, I think. And then they were like, which way is the E facing? Because it all if it gets blurry, you can't tell. That was, instead of like read off the numbers, it was, and I remember being like embarrassed that I couldn't tell which way it was. And I remember, and then they were like, yeah, you need, so my mom we went and checked my eyes, and the guy was like, okay, here's your prescription. And it was pretty bad, actually. And it was just like, but I was that nerd who sat in the front so I could raise my hand. So
is that how they get really little kids? Is like, I always see like little kids, like toddlers, 2, 3, 4, wearing glasses. And I'm like, how do you know that they need to wear glasses?
Well, now they can just tell by looking at the curvature, a lot of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I remember I went in there, and I remember I got my glasses. And I remember the first thing I noticed when I put my glasses on and I looked outside, I was like, oh my God, trees have leaves. It isn't just a green blob.
Yeah.
I was just stunned at how sharp
the world worked.
And like, I remember like my parents,
really high res.
And my parents' house, they have this shag carpet in the family room. It's still there. And I remember I walked by the doorway that led to the family room, and I did a double take, and I came back. And I was like, oh my gosh, it isn't just a big giant schmog of colors. It's actually like very,
It'd be
interspersed.
cooler
and
to
stuff
live
like
in an impressionistic world.
that. Yeah,
And you don't see all the flaws, right? I mean, like you just whatever.
There you go.
yeah. But no, I mean, it was. I mean, that if I'm really, really tired, and I'm not thinking about it, and I get in the shower in the morning to wake myself up, I still try to take my glasses off because I think I'm wearing my glasses in the shower. But I have to be really, really tired to do that because, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my glasses.
When I'm really tired, I wear my readers into the shower. Normally, I have them on top of my head, right? Like I only need them when I want to read.
So I was telling Barry earlier. I was at Con of the North, and I played a lot of games. My daughter learned how to play Taverns of Tiefenthal, like all by herself. It was awesome. I came over and I saw she was playing it with these people, and it was like. And they helped her along, but she played like I was really. Usually, it's like my daughter will play games like, like roll and writes or things that are the entry level is pretty normal or pretty slim. Or she plays like games with tons of dice, like Cthulhu Wars and stuff like that. But here, and admittedly, like she has a group of friends that they play Arkham Horror all the time. So I mean, it isn't like they're afraid of rules. But I was actually very proud. She was just sitting there playing Taverns of Tiefenthal, and which is a good game, right? And admittedly, I don't think they had any of the modules added.
Right,
it was
the
just
first module,
the first base thing.
I think the base game has enough.
Oh yeah, I mean, and she was rocking it. I mean, she was like, like figuring out, I should probably get. More of the brewery thing so she can have more beers and things like that. So that was kind of cool. But I mean, I'm like, I think
games okay for kids. I mean, like, I'm obviously you're letting her play it. I don't think you care, but I'm just thinking.
She says if I'm like back when I used to play softball, she would walk by and she's like, you smell like beer, Dad. Just like raise her nose. But no,
during the games.
But she has had like a sip of like soda in her life and she thinks it tastes horrible. Like so she doesn't drink anything with caffeine in it. I mean, well, no, she'll drink like I usually have. Like Arnold Palmer Zero, which is like iced tea, which technically has some caffeine in it. But she'll drink that because she thinks it tastes good because it tastes like lemonade. She must have taught 15 people cartographers. Like she was just sitting there, and which is a really, really good. I guess reveal and write would be a way to say that's what that game is.
I refuse to say that.
What?
It's a writing game. Yeah,
a flip and fill. It's a flip and fill.
No.
Why flip and fill? I like that one. That's pretty good.
I'm just fine with calling them all rolling rights, and who cares whether you're rolling or flipping or drawing or whatever.
Randomization.
I like Rand and Wright, but nobody but me and Scott.
No, I mean I listed. I think Cartographers was my 5th best game of last year.
I haven't done a top 10 last year, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, I stand by that. That is a solid game, and especially that like you can't count on the monsters showing up just to mess with you. So it's like you might have an easy roll. The ruins might never come into play, but maybe you have to keep and sometimes using up all the ruins is good. Like you just want to have just a 1x1 thing of anything you want because it'll help you like to finish off a row.
The game is super clever.
Oh no,
I'm trying to think of how to make a deluxe pieces version of that game where you just have like individual tiles and then a grid that you just pop. Like
you'd have to basically just buy Legos. Get an 11 by 11 Lego block.
Lego, but.
And then just put the blocks in.
Lego, but
I like how they sell Keith Matika. He sells Cartographers signature colored pencils. You can buy them on. You can buy them on his or you can go to the dollar store and buy all you want. But yeah. But I mean, that game is totally colored. You want to have just colored pencils.
Colorable.
That's the one thing I don't like about it is that like okay, the squiggly lines are the water, and,
Yeah.
yeah,
It needs color.
it totally was. But no, I just thought that would actually be. I got to see if Lego makes an 11 by 11 square, because I would totally
You could play on a bigger one though, and just make a border if you wanted to.
Well, sure, but I mean, and then just have like sacks of all what
2x2.
five colors, 6 colors. Well, you'd have to have 1 by 1s too, because some of like the stuff is 1 by 1.
Well, I'm saying like one square would be a 2x2, like a two.
Why would you have to go 2 by 2? Why would 1 square be 2 by 2?
Well, otherwise you're talking about a 1 by 1 pixel.
Yeah, well, yeah. Then you got this big giant. I would just everybody has their one little thing, and then I think
it would be really.
Then it's what?
An 11 by 11.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's an 11 by 11 grid.
No, you want 2x2s. I would want it bigger, just because I do. I don't know.
Oh, compensation.
Are you watching the Lego Master Show?
No, who cares?
It's good.
No, it isn't. It's
good.
fake. It's reality TV.
Sure, it has some reality moments, but in the end, I think they do show a lot of the buildings stuff.
What is it?
Lego
like master Lego creators.
It's basically
like a master chef with making Legos instead of
master chef for Lego. Yeah, it's
right.
it's teams of 2, and not all the teams are very good. Like they're not all friends, I should say.
Well, I'll say this. Well, that's because they're scripted not to be friends. Anyway,
come on, Lance.
Yes, no, all of that stuff is
they
completely fake,
and they basically probably encourage infighting if there is any. Although they're very supportive. Like, are you watching it?
I don't have normal TV, dude.
Okay.
I don't believe in paying the man his cable prices.
Why? What channel is it on?
Well, if it ain't on Netflix,
I think the show is fine.
I would have assumed it was on Netflix. Actually,
there's enough Lego in it to be fun.
I'm sure you enjoy watching it, and good for you.
Thanks.
I
wish it was more like British Baking Show, but like it's.
Oh God, yes, please, more of that.
British Baking Show is good.
Is there something wrong with the British Baking
What's
Show?
wrong with the British Baking Show?
Because I have a real problem with any reality TV, because it's like. But here, let me say this.
You never get to see anything outside of your little window of nothing.
Let me say this.
Would you be able to see a glass blowing competition?
Can I say something real quick here?
Please.
Okay, so my thing is that the same people that will watch a reality TV show, like these contest shows or whatever, which I guess I'm sure maybe 1 or 2 of them are legit. I don't know, but I always just figure it's all scripted. They because what if they got a story that wasn't interesting, right? I mean, you're all the money you spent, all the thing, and you had somebody that if you didn't have like some sort of drama come up or something poignant or something that made people happy, like it would be like, wow, we spent millions of dollars on the show and we have an ending that sucks. So I always think
I'm sure encourage people.
That's because you're watching terrible, shitty, lowest common denominator American reality shows.
Okay, but here, time out. The same people that tell me that why do you watch wrestling? It's fake, and I'm like, so is every single one of your reality TV shows, because it's just like it's scripted. It has predetermined endings, but the journey to get to the end.
What is the extent of your experience with reality TV?
I don't
Which shows have you been watching? Which shows have touched you in the wrong place?
He's basing it on.
He's all basing it on Honey Boo Boo, isn't he? That's it. Judging them all by that.
What was the one where only the one guy was not in on it? What was that show?
Oh,
do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one too. It was like
it wasn't Average Joe, was it?
I think it was Average Joe or something like. It was something along those lines where it was the one everybody else
one guy didn't know it was all fake and scripted.
Yeah,
and so he was unknowingly the star of the show. So it was basically a Truman Show type situation.
It was Truman Show. I thought it was really interesting. But
yeah.
whatever. I mean, here's
the reality shows we tend to like. are ones that don't have any of that scripted drama. I mean, Jen really loves a British. It's not the British Bake Off, but it's one about. It's a competition show about making clay sculptures and pottery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all the contestants are just super supportive of each other and constantly helping each other and whatnot. And and it's just obvious they're all just good people, rejoicing in their shared love of this art form. And sadly, every week one of them has to go, and it's generally the one who did the worst job. That's pretty obvious. There's no producer. Well, we got to keep that one around because he's the sexy one for the teeny boppers to watch. Well, I mean, none of that. It's just clear a bunch of people who love their craft and really enjoy each other's company.
And to that, I say the producers did a great job finding actors to take those roles.
or the world isn't quite so grim and cynical as you might be supposed to think.
There's a great glass blowing one on Netflix.
Yeah, I generally like that one too.
Yeah, it was really good. And there's some like people that didn't like each other, but then when it really boiled down to it, they all helped each other. Like when one person finished, they went and helped the other person.
Yeah, and the main reality shows we watch are Survivor and Amazing Race, and
that's all fake, man. Come on.
The thing is, it doesn't have to be because those are real emotions coming out because these people are in the worst possible fucking situation they can be in, and it just manufactures drama on its own. They don't need to zhoosh anybody to get when they're literally starving. They're going to snap at each other anyway. Or they're under just insane amounts of stress as they try to win a race around the world in a country where they don't speak the language and goddamn taxis always break down or what have you. So, I understand what you're saying. And you're right. There's certainly a fair amount of reality TV that is scripted and staged because, hey, how can we just get a regular drama show really cheap? Okay, we'll just make it a reality show, but it's really a scripted drama. But the good ones, they do not fall prey to that because they don't need to, because they were created to either cater to a different demographic. Hey, how about people who are happy and joyous and share in each other and respect each other? Or let's just put these people in truly miserable circumstances. I've never watched an episode of Big Brother. I don't know anything about that one though.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. But earlier it was said we would talk about games.
Yeah.
I've done my part. I talked about the expansion for Teotihuacan and how
I talked about cartographers.
Yes, you did. Yes, Scott.
I'm trying to remember the name, but what's the what was Oh My Goods board game called?
New Dale.
New Dale. Expedition to New Dale. I liked it. Well,
you finished?
No, I only played the first.
Okay, you just played the first one.
Yeah, I need to look at it and see if I want to play more all through because I kind of really want to play Clank. We stopped playing Clank for a while, so
why?
No reason.
Yeah,
just
why?
We just started playing other things.
You're talking about Clank Legacy, I assume.
Yeah, Clank Legacy.
Do you find
that
I am crazy in my main complaint about that game? That I do think they made a mistake by having all the events happen while you're playing instead of in between sessions, like most Legacy games.
I haven't gotten to the point where it's been too crazy, so I don't.
So far,
I'll do this.
Under 5. I think it's 4.
Let me do this. Something we haven't done in a while. Should I back it? I actually thought about doing the quiz show today. But then I got really busy with work, and so I wasn't able to figure out some initials or anything.
Should I back it more?
Okay, should I back it?
What are we talking about?
I'm going to tell you.
Come up with some Kickstarter.
About the game. I didn't even get to talk about it.
Let's just.
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
Okay. Say no.
Say what you mean. One thing leads to another.
Scott, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
Please continue.
If it's not interesting, I can totally skip it.
No. I should.
I don't want to be boring.
I was being a poor host. You're jeez.
So, gosh. Oh my good card game.
Should I get the pliers to get you off the cross?
So I'm sorry. Yes, we changed the subject. You were starting to talk about New Dale.
If you like Oh My Goods, you'll love this. I think it's above average. I won't say it's amazing because it's obviously Oh My Goods engine underneath it, which is a neat game where you build buildings that have production, and those buildings where the cards can also feed into those buildings to create. And it's interesting how they do it. They have these generic brown barrels that you put on the card, so that represents if you make cows, you put a brown barrel on it, and that's one cow, and that's worth $3. So there's no money in the game. You pay for everything by taking off the pieces off the cards to pay for stuff, and then you're basically trying to get points by building lots of buildings. And then in the first mission, there's 2, what do you call them? Goals, like end game scoring goals. So everybody can score those, right? Plus you score all your own, like whatever you've got, that's worth points in that game. And there's lots of buildings that are worth points, and some are production. And I don't know, it's fun. It's just fun making the whole production chain work with that. But you really do need to know how the production chain works really well, because you might be looking for a card that doesn't exist, like me. Like, well, how do you make stone? No, you can't make stone. Stones are on the cards, right? Like the very basic goods are on the cards. So you feed the cards into the machine, and then that can chain down the line through your factories or whatever. So kind of had a little bit of a flaw in my game, but not a big deal. And then there's a board game aspect to it where you're traveling around, and each building is like on a map, right? And you're trying to claim resources on the map or symbols, for end game score, stuff like that. So if you like Oh My Goods, you'll like the board game. And then there's 6 events or 7 events that pop up during the game, and those are like randomized. So those can affect how it plays. Like I said, it's above average for me. And if you like that resource chaining type stuff, it's fun.
Well, of the two, if you're trying to decide, should you put more time into New Dale or Clank, one thing I'll say is, and this might come as a surprise, even though Clank is a big old legacy game with stickers and all kinds of stuff, New Dale reinvents itself more as you go through more chapters.
Okay, well, that's really interesting, then.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's overspeaking, but New Dale, Clank just adds more clankness.
Right.
It doesn't really do much to fundamentally change Clank. Whereas New Dale, as you go to new maps and new features become available, they really do change things up, like roadblocks that prevent you from being able to spread out, and boats and captains and crew. There's just lots of stuff that gets added game after game after game. So it's reinventing itself a lot more. And if I recall correctly, it only plays in about, you'll get through the campaign in half the time as you would Clank.
Oh, yeah. The games I think we finished our game in an hour.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's shorter, and there are fewer missions. So you'll see, it's like, as I recall, I think you really appreciated Daeon's End Legacy because, hey, it's a good old legacy game, and we're done in 6 games. Hooray.
Yeah. You get the full effect of it, and you're done.
Yeah.
Although Daeon's Legacy. Yeah. I shouldn't say anything.
The weird thing, I want to say this about the whole legacy type game or whatever. Like with
first of all, are you pro or con?
Well, just let me get to my point here, please.
All right, but I need to have context of where you stand.
What do you context?
So
are you for it or against it?
I'm not for it. I'm against it.
By the way, I watched the debate tonight. I will talk. Keep going. Go.
All right.
I was watching until the YouTube feed I was watching cut out because MSNBC found it and shut it down. I'm like, oh look. It's 7:30. I should come over to.
It's on Facebook for free.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was like on Morning Joe's web page. Anyway.
Oh, I was just doing a search for some random people on YouTube hosting it until they get shut down by the man. Right. But anyway, you've been very patient on your show.
Now, legacy.
No, that's okay. You're talking.
Last I heard, you're getting it.
I thought we were debating.
No, I was just quoting The Simpsons. I'm not for it. I'm against it. No, so I have this this. So when Pandemic Legacy came out, like it kind of blew everybody away with the idea that like, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, technically Risk Legacy came first.
Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah, but Risk Legacy only blew a few people away. Pandemic Legacy blew everybody away.
Yes. Well, I didn't think it was that good, but regardless.
You were blown away. Admit it.
No, no, I wasn't. But anyway.
Did you play Risk Legacy out of curiosity?
I did play Risk Legacy.
Okay. Did you?
Were you blown away?
I don't want to say anything. It's still a spoiler. Never mind. Get going.
I'll spoil it.
On Risk Legacy, I think the I think. Yeah.
What city did you nuke, or what country?
What country did we nuke?
Did you make a nuke?
We made nukes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever. Keep going.
Regardless, yes. Well, anyway, so it's one of those things where it's like when Pandemic Legacy and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this game's amazing," you know. And then like there was like, and then hold on a second. You know what? Screw it. When like, and then on Halloween or whatever, like cool stuff, like put Pandemic Legacy in like their zombie games or whatever section or whatever.
Right.
Like, and people lost their shit.
Yeah, they lost their shit.
Yeah, just because.
What was it?
What?
What's zombie games? I don't.
Well, they had things.
Yes,
They had like
I
a
remember.
like a Halloween zombie game.
Okay. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. So, so yeah, like people lost their crap over that and stuff like that. But anyway, there's some other
zombies in that game.
Yeah. Anyway, so but my point is that I really thought that there would be like this massive influx of legacy games, and not that there hasn't been, but I mean, the entrance level to create them is obviously way more difficult because you have to just come up with all the content or whatever, obviously.
And I assume production is insane too, with things in boxes and
production difficulties.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is that it's just there really hasn't been, and I think, and I'm going to attribute
They're so hard. They're so hard to make.
One, the difficulty to make them.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shit on anything here. The incredible disappointment that Seafall was. Like everybody, people bought that game like it was a piece of gold, and they were so happy to have it in their hands.
Coming, yeah.
Yeah, they paid good money for it, and then it was just basically like, it was a turd. It was a total
for the first few games, right?
Oh, we got through 7 sessions, and I mean, and the last 2 were like pulling teeth.
So they just it had a good start, but it just started wearing you down.
It was they just made the mistake of like, hey, you remember that really, like, let's just redo the entire first part of the game again, and then the second session, let's redo the. Yeah, you just kept on having to restart and redo and restart and redo and restart and redo, and that was what caused people to like go, this is horrible, and it just wasn't
I guess the hardest part, and I don't know if Rob has ever, he's probably done some interviews about it, like getting the base game done first so that it's fun it has to be a great
game to begin with.
Right, and Seafall was an unproven game, right? Like no one had ever played anything like it, or
I mean, that's the difference between Pandemic Legacy 1 and Pandemic Legacy 2, which Pandemic Legacy 2 does a lot of really cool legacy stuff, but it is built on a much weaker game than Pandemic. If you can imagine such a thing, Lance. If you imagine Pandemic even worse, that is what the underlying structure of Pandemic Legacy 2 was.
So but that's why everything's now like a legacy version of a game that's already established.
It's already well established.
Legacy.
I mean, I think it was Aeon's End. I think that really solidified. Well, look, here's another way we can do it. We have an expansion coming out. Instead of just giving you all the stuff, let's throw in some stickers and unlock it over 5 games.
Yeah.
And because we know our base game is great, we know all our expansion stuff is great. Yeah.
I was, like I said, I just
Machikoro Legacy.
No, I would have liked to try it, but they never sent me a review copy.
I have one, and I played the whole thing. I played tested it at BGG Con.
Yeah,
you played the whole thing at BGG Con, and
we just did session after session after session after session.
Did you do it in one sitting?
2 days took us to
Wow. Okay.
How do I even say this? I have a copy of it. And at one point, I will play it with probably like my family or something. However, it's a signed copy. I'll just leave it at that.
Do you want to be back by using it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that.
Say no more.
Yeah, say no more. You know, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I see it and I'm like, hey, and then I'm like, oh, you know. So
I was a little concerned with Queensdale, since it wasn't really a game that had been done before.
Yeah,
but it used a lot of very solid like Euro mechanics.
The core game there was very good.
yeah, the fun core of the game was fun, even though it was like the same thing about 50 times, but it was always fun. I don't know. I always wanted to see what I would roll. Like every turn, like, okay, I want to get that special face this turn. All right, we got to play rock, paper, scissors. Or whatever.
I believe you didn't care for
I had the shell game.
right?
You remember that? What's that?
I believe you didn't care for Charterstone.
I liked the first 4 or 5 games of Charterstone. I didn't like, and then we stopped at game 10. We were just like we couldn't bring ourselves to do another one. I liked the game. I liked it. Okay, it's just it didn't change enough for my tastes of a legacy game. And I wanted to see the end of the story, so we just opened all the cards and read them.
I was curious, did you do that with Seafall, Lance? When you guys eventually gave up, did you say, okay, let's just open everything?
I think I just threw it away.
Oh
man!
You know what the big reveal is, right?
No, I don't.
One of those boxes you would have opened actually had a black light in it. There was stuff scribbled over all your cards and the boards and everything. That was hidden.
Really? Yeah.
And I suspect, I would have. That would be a really cool thing to experience. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. Did I just spoil that?
Nah.
It's okay.
No.
Apparently, it's so terrible you wouldn't want to try to get there anyway.
Here's the deal. It's written on the back of the box.
There's a black light in there?
If you look really closely, it says it's very tiny.
Did they have to do it because of some legal reason?
Yeah.
Because black lights are sexy?
Well, something about the batteries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're spoiling everything tonight, folks. Legacy spoiler night.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Queensdale, the king is trying to.
Well, I didn't think anybody particularly cared about spoiling Seafall since it was.
Charterstone, the king is trying to.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody who completed that.
Who what?
Who completed Seafall?
Do you remember the guy that did the video series, Every Game You Like Is Bad or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He finished it, and he did an hour-long monologue about it, and it was really well done.
He's a very good critic.
I miss that guy. He was really good.
He's still doing a podcast. He just stopped doing video.
Oh.
And I think it's him and a friend of his still doing pretty much the exact same thing, just in podcast form.
Okay, I got to find the podcast. I kind of don't listen to podcasts. But.
And I think it's the same title, too. It's still Every Game You Love Is Shit or whatever.
All the games you love are bad.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay, can I want to say a grievance that has really nothing to do with any of this, but I just want to say a grievance.
All right.
Websites that still ask you to create, and admittedly, Scott, your website was created a long time ago, so you get a pass. You get a pass here.
I created things when it wasn't out already, so
yes, you get a pass. But websites that are created now that ask you to create a username instead of just using your email. It is like.
So, how do you display your name? Should I just use your real name, or should I show
Well,
your?
just no. I mean, I'm not. I'm talking about just like there's like so I'm not gonna like call out the company, but basically like an RPG that I backed. They opened up the pledge manager. They were like pick a username and then but you don't use your email as the username. And so then they just recently sent out another email saying that we all had to go back into the pledge manager and redo it because of some change or whatever. And I have been I got locked out because I couldn't remember what I set up as my username for it. I mean, it was just
right.
Why? Just use my email.
There's
no reason why. We are not in 2000 where I'm going to come up with Smarty 69 or something and say funny, just no. And so I'm I had to fight for 20 minutes to get this fucking thing. Yeah, and I was just it was so annoying. I was just if I hadn't already invested $70 or whatever, I would have been. If it had been a $1 pledge, I would have just quit.
Keep it.
I would just keep my $1. I'm out. See you later. But no. Yeah.
I don't think we spoiled anything. Did we?
Who cares?
You know what?
The black light. The black light was the only spoiler.
Look,
that is the single coolest moment in the entire experience, and that would be really cool to be going along and say, "Oh my god," that's.
Well, but you have to eat a turd sandwich for so long before you get to the cool part. I mean, where's the point?
Yep, that is the problem, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was. I mean, Lance, we were both at Gen Con, I think, that year that they were doing testing for it, right? I think we both played it.
And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the prologue or whatever it was. Yeah, I thought it was good.
So what was it before? Was it not a fly your ship around and do goods trading and all that stuff? Was it not that?
It was a lot of like you'd explore and then you'd like have those choose your own adventure things.
Yeah, it came with a whole narrative book.
Yeah, where then like and,
so that's not different. Or it was different, was more involved or something.
But there was two things that were bad about it. It was one, it was like, and this is not a spoiler, it was like you would go out, you'd search everything, and then like you'd get done, like there'd be some event or something that would trigger the end of that scenario. And so you'd finish that scenario and then like you total up, okay, who scored the most points, who get this, who get that, okay, who's in first place now? And okay, the person in first place gets this bonus, the person in second place gets this bonus, whatever. It had a rich get richer problem. Like there wasn't a catch up mechanism.
But it did have those things with those little, what are they called? Like if you attacked me, I gave you my token, and then that hurt you in some way.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It was well, and like I hate using this word, but it was not a very elegant system at all. Like fighting each other and stuff like that just was not an elegant system at all to accomplish that. And then you get on the scenario, and then you would just the board would change slightly. Maybe you put an island here, or you change this or whatever. But then you just reset, and you'd all go back to your port, and then you'd all race back out again.
Yeah,
and if you play, right, because every time you play, hey, it's 70 years later, and everything you did is forgotten. You're starting over from scratch, right?
Yeah, it was just.
Did you guys play Betrayal Legacy?
No,
I heard that was pretty great.
That is what I pretty much consistently heard as well.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that it's like. I can't consistently get a group together. I mean, like we
one in your house.
Well,
you grew one.
I know I did, but I mean, I like playing games. I mean, if it's a 2-player game, she and I can just go at it all day long. But I mean, it's just like it's one of those things where I would rather have 3 or 4 in one of those more involved things. Plus. I will say this: King's Legacy was really good. I forced us to get through that. King's Dilemma. Sorry, King's Dilemma.
Yeah.
I must be the minority in that one. I was done after 4 games.
Well, I thought
really?
No, I loved it at the beginning. But here's the thing: Did everybody? You seen the shut up and sit down review?
No,
it's glowing, and I'm like, did you guys finish it? Did you finish it, Lance?
Oh yeah, we got through it.
He pushed his group to do it, even though they didn't wanna.
Yeah, I was kind of mean. But anyway.
You were for it.
I honestly don't want to say anything because that's so new. I don't want.
Well, it is relatively new, so maybe that's one where you can't.
Well, we'll have to revisit that in a year because I'm genuinely curious because I'll never play it because it doesn't support 2. Sadly.
Yeah, I can't. I'll tell you offline or something.
Too much typing. All right.
Too much typing.
Yeah, well, it'd be.
I'm not for it. I'm against it.
So I have a topic that this brain trust might be able to help me with. I'm going to Dice Tower Con West next week. I assume none of you guys are going in Vegas.
No, I'm not going.
No.
No.
I'm doing a panel or a thing with Tom Vassell where we're just going to sit up and I assume it'll be recorded. And we're going to be listing originally he wanted us to do, our top 10 games of the decade kind of a thing, a retrospective. But I think he didn't want to wait. And so he ended up doing that with Z. And so he came up with an alternative, which I think is actually really cool. And so I'm trying to work on my list. Top 10 most impactful or important games of the decade.
Which
is a very cool topic for retrospective.
Are you for the decade? So we're talking 2010 to 2020,
2019. Yes.
Well, I mean, Pandemic Legacy obviously has to be.
Originally. Well, first of all, my first question is: do I put Mandega or do I put Risk?
It's Risk.
No, because Risk, like you said, nobody played it. I mean,
Risk got some people excited, but if if it hadn't been followed up by Pandemic Legacy, I don't think we would have had any kind of Legacy explosion.
Yeah, I would say no to Risk Legacy.
Yeah.
I would say Pandemic definitely.
I was wowed by Risk Legacy. I don't know.
Well, and also, I would argue Risk Legacy is the better implementation of the promise because it was so all over the place. I mean, the narrative evolves based on what you choose as opposed to the narrative evolving based on what Matt Leacock and Rob Davio wrote down as a series of things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. My first thought was Risk, but then I thought maybe it should be Pandemic. But then I'm thinking, should it really be either of them? Because, as you were saying, Lance, we really haven't had a Legacy explosion. We've had a few, and not very many to note, and I don't know that it has made much of a difference.
There's more than you think.
Compared to the 4,400 games that come out every year, there's less than a half a dozen of them are Legacy games.
Yeah, but there's so many. Let
me think. How about?
So I'm still on the fence about. I'm thinking about just because I've got 15 and I'm having a hard time, and I'm thinking about dropping both Legacies. One, because I know Tom will mention it anyway. So
Gloomhaven would have to be on there.
Gloomhaven, yes, that's still on there. Why would you put Gloomhaven on that list? And I'll tell you why I think it's.
I would say
Gloomhaven on my list.
You would or wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't.
I would say Gloomhaven just because I know of so many people that have had dedicated groups getting together every week and just playing it, and getting through the whole thing.
Descent did that?
What?
Descent didn't do that?
No.
A decade earlier?
Which one?
No. Descent. I mean, as much as I love Descent, but I don't think it holds a candle.
Descent never came close to the top game of all time on Board Game Geek, did it?
Yeah, but it came out before.
Never had that kind of geek pop culture impact.
I will say this about I'm a big believer that first edition Descent was a better game than second edition. But the first edition Descent Road to Legends, I played about half of that, and that is a superior campaign experience to Gloomhaven, in my most humble opinion.
That's what I was thinking.
But nobody played Descent.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm not saying what the best ones are. I'm saying what had the most impact on the industry. Yeah. And here's why I would put Gloomhaven on that list. Not because of its merits, as a campaign narrative co-op adventure, but it was so monstrously successful. I think it has emboldened, what was it? What was the one that Isaac did before that? Forge War.
Forge War, which was good.
And it was a great game, and it was insane. I mean, Isaac has no restraint. He throws every idea he can into that box. And Forge War, did okay, but he did the same thing with Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven has 10 games worth of content in that box. No publisher would have released the game like that. They would have slimmed it all down and then, had 10 expansions ready to go. But Isaac put it all in the box, and I think it was so successful that it has encouraged other developers to do the same thing. Hey, let's just go insane. Let's throw everything in. I think Batman from Monolith owes a lot, to Gloomhaven.
Conan.
Because Gloomhaven set that expectation. Yeah, if you throw everything in this box, you will make all the money.
Right.
And I think that is going to have long-term impact.
I'm trying to think of other games.
Do the same, right?
No, I'm just thinking of other games and like what I would put on my most influential or whatever, which is such a bullshit title to begin with. Dominion has to be on there.
It came out in 2008.
Oh well, then it can't be on there.
I know.
See, and by the same accord,
last decade. Why limit yourself?
By the same accord,
that's what people do at the end of a decade.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's the other thing. By the same accord, like if we were going back, I would say Agricola would have to be on there because Agricola.
And that's 2007.
And that was not in 2000.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
06.
So 2010. This is tough because like 2000 because the big boom started right around 2010.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I would say Blood Rage.
I mean, just because
I
of
thought
like
about that one.
because it was the first, in my opinion, cool mini or not. Like Zombicide obviously was
No,
before that.
Zombicide is on my list at the moment.
Yeah.
Because again, it's that same thing I was talking about. I mean, Zombicide. I think I asked about this a few weeks ago. I think it's the first stupid, crazy. Oh my God! How much money did that make on Kickstarter? And why? Because it has all the plastic, and now everybody chases that, and that has become a trope.
standard for Kickstarter models.
Yeah.
Stretch goals.
And everybody chases that now.
Yeah.
And with good success for most part.
Yeah.
So I was inclined to put that one, not because of the game, but because of the sales.
Oh, I like Zombicide. Zombicide is a nice dice chucker.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, I don't think there's anything about that gameplay that is particularly impactful in terms of the growth or direction of the industry.
So not to switch gears here, but at Gen Con, Scott, did you try out the Cool Mini or not? I don't think we were.
I did. I got the demo. I didn't play it. I watched it.
So, we watched it together. I think.
When I go, look, this is my only time I can ever see this. You have to let me in or not.
Yeah. So I remember thinking that looked kind of cool, but I also remember thinking I would never play it like this.
The basic demo. It was a functional demo, right? Like the real innovation would come later with what you can do with that kind of system.
Dave Doggett made a mention that nobody else will pick, and I should have thought of it because I think Fire in the Lake is great. It was the first coin game, first coin war game, and the coin war games are fantastic. And that was like the very first one. If you've played them, I mean, they're kind of warros in a way. Like I remember somebody coined that term for me. Like
that's a good term.
And a lot of people are scared of those because yes, the GMT rule books leave a lot to, unless you're accustomed to to how war game rule books work. You're not. It is not. It is not good. I mean, would you put Root? I would definitely put Root on there.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say I don't think you could put Coin on this list, but you could put Root because Root is the heir apparent to that, and Root is the game that builds on Coin and turned it into something that has mass market potential. Again, mass market within our geeky little sphere.
Root is the game that like you could make people war gamers by making them play Root.
The other game though that they had, the previous one.
Vast.
Yeah. I
I
mean, what are you going for? Asymmetric gameplay or talking about?
Well, that's a big part. That is a big part of the coin games is that everybody's playing. I mean, they're all playing the same game, but your factions are so radically different, and they're all based on the real history of these warfare.
But I mean, see what pisses me off is that so Vast was like cool. I'll totally give up the thing that Vast was cool. But you know what was a cooler game that was asymmetrical play? Chaos in the Old World by Eric Lang. All of the four different gods, the four different chaos gods had different ways to.
Yeah, but
when you mentioned Blood Rage, should you have mentioned Blood Rage, or should before that we had Kemet, and before that we had Chaos in the Old World, and before that we had.
Well, technically, Midgard is more of the ancestor of Blood Rage. Midgard was a very small game that. Do you remember when there was that reprint, or no, the movie for Beowulf came out? Remember when Beowulf?
That's what I was thinking of. Cyclades.
Okay, but Beowulf the movie. So like, Eric Lang made like a Beowulf like Midgard game. It was really weird, and it was like
a Viking something or other.
Yeah, and both of those were the predecessors to Blood Rage. Blood Rage is still one of my favorite games. I mean, it's so good.
I'm sure it must be in the top 30 on BGG. It must be.
I would think so.
But okay, that gets back to that question from the risk.
Ooh, Paul Tompkins said Love Letter.
I
think Love Letter is earlier. Unfortunately, I did.
Yeah, I think that's 2009.
I think it is. I hate to say it, there's not been that much innovation in the past.
No,
year.
Love Letter's 2012.
Oh, well, there you go. I would definitely put Love Letter on there. I remember.
How did I forget that? Oh, I do have it on my list. I'm not sure if I will. Well, okay. Here's the deal.
You know what though?
I
You know what's
remember
worse?
this now. I put Love Letter on my list. I've marked it as a maybe because its main impact was, oh my God, look at this micro game thing. You can get a whole game out of 12 cards. That's incredible. And we had an explosion of that for like all of a year, and now nobody does it anymore. So did it really have an impact, or was it a blip?
No, I think the micro games still exist, and but they're just getting nothing. Nothing is name me a type of game that there's tons of right now.
None of it games.
Well,
so you'd have. That's what I'm saying. Worker placement, Bus and Kalis came. Kalis specifically. You'd have to give it up to Kalis, and that has stuck. And I don't know that Love Letter, introducing us to micro, and Dominion brought us deck building, and that has stuck. I don't know that micro games have stuck.
No. Yeah, they're kind of going away now, right?
I mean, there were two
boxes now
that came out recently that are amazing. Circle the Wagons and Sprawlopolis. I only just found them like within the last month. They came out a couple of years ago, and then they got reprinted last year, and they're phenomenal. What's it? Circle the Wagons. I have to retroactively put it in my top 10 of the year 2017 when it came out. But it's easily one of the best games I've played in years, and nobody's heard of it, and nobody cares about it. And I think that's because micro games had their brief moment in the sun, and everybody moved on.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought of Love Letter, but I took it out.
Well, I will say this: if there was no Love Letter, if there was no Love Letter,
there'd be no Batman.
There would be no Lovecraft Letter, and I wouldn't have been screwed over by Scott for an hour.
Oh, that was the greatest night of my life. That was, you got to admit though, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
Great.
Everybody, including my own wife, conspiring against me at the table. Everybody else, literally everybody else, has 2 points. One more point, they win the game. I have 0, and people are still trying to knock me out.
But you don't see the comedy in that.
The one person nobody should be worried about.
What about man? I'm struggling here to find out.
Here's one I want to put on. Tell me, but I don't think I can. Tell me I can. Bye, Forrest. You'll be back.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Resistance.
Ooh, see now that's a total blindside I have. I know nothing about that world. So you're right. Resistance is a good one. Yeah, I'm sure it's within the last 10 years. But is it? No, 2009. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's tough. There's not a lot of competition.
I want to put this horror pine on.
Why?
It came out in 2017, and I think it should rock the industry, but I think sadly it hasn't.
No.
And that's because it's brilliant, IP migration, which is hard to do, but I think we are now seeing more and more of that. It's tackling real world issues without sacrificing gameplay. And the other thing, it tries it and Legends of Andor are the 2 games I can think of that set up the hey, look, you'll learn as you go. You don't get a rule book with this game. You get a guided tutorial that by the time you're through it, you will know how to play this game. And I do think something like that is really important for the growth of the industry. It hasn't caught on yet, but more publishers should be doing it. So I kind of want to give a shout out to it, even though it hasn't, just to basically draw a line in the sand and say, publishers, you should be paying attention to this. This is the future. But I don't know if that kind of fits within the spirit of, well, no, let's actually talk about ones that really did. Another one I want to do, I want to try and identify the best case for digital app integration in games. And right now, I'm thinking Mansions of Madness 2. It's not the first one, but I think that's the one where the majority of gamers said, okay, I guess this is a thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Eric Lang did XCOM a few years before, but that was just kind of, that was like kind of a party trick, really. And everybody said, well, we don't need this app. He just needs a deck of event cards. But I do think Mansions of Madness is the one that really convinced people, apps can really improve the game.
it randomizes things and
Yeah.
every
It
game.
doesn't do as much as it should, but it does do good stuff. And Zombicide, I was thinking. I was also thinking. I don't know if I should spoil the list, but I mean, nobody who's going to Dice Tower Con is watching this, right? Right? Audience? Nobody? Yeah. That's like a. This is
Everybody will forget anyway. So it's so far away.
Let's see. The obvious one is Seven Wonders.
Yeah.
It's only 7 years ago.
Yeah. Well, no, it's 10. It came out in 2010.
Oh,
it was not the first card drafting game,
I thought it
but
was-
you know, it is the Dominion of card drafting games. It's Patient Zero.
I recently played that again for like the first time, like about a month ago, and I had a lot of fun. I was still screaming at the person, handing the person science buildings. Just like, what are you doing?
I guess with Armada, you could actually attack him now and make him stop. Is what the latest expansion was. Yeah, Armada allows you to basically build warships and attack people across the table.
Well, I want to do that.
There you go. That's what you were missing the other day.
I'd probably put Mysterium on my list.
Which one?
Mysterium. You can't play it. It's not two-player.
Mysterium.
Do you know Mysterium?
Yes, I have Time Mishme Duomostvo. Very good call. I have that one because I think, I mean, it owes a lot to Dixit, but now it seems like everybody's doing Mysterium. Yeah, I'm going to take this War of Mine off. It breaks my heart.
I believe me, I want the 4-9 to be that, but I don't care.
Well, and you know, I mean, because I could also put into that same thing Freedom the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
But again, it was amazing. It should be hugely influential, and it's just not. I think everybody's still too scared.
What's the topic again? The most influential games of the past.
Yeah, the most impactful, the most influential games of the decade.
Oh.
Or important, whatever, you know. Well,
I'd probably say Robinson Crusoe.
So
really?
Yeah.
That did not occur to me.
I think for a lot of people, that got like worker placement all for them, you know, because it's kind of a combination of Eurotrash and Euro games and Ameritrash.
That's 2012.
Do you have Pandemic Legacy on there, Richard? I know you weren't the biggest fan.
I do, although I'm kind of on the bubble about including it.
Say Robinson Crusoe was like the first survival cooperative game, or
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of them, right?
Well, the main thing about it, it's really it's the first cooperative game that proves you can do something other than copy Pandemic. You know, because it is a cooperative worker placement game. And it totally, I mean, after Pandemic, there were tons, you know, Defenders of the Realm, there were lots. And to this day, there are still lots of games that basically share the same DNA as Pandemic. But more and more, although there was that Atlantis one, wasn't there?
Atlantis Rising or?
Yeah, something like that. I think that one's earlier.
Yeah, no, they reprinted it. They reprinted it last year, I think.
Yeah, they did.
The cutoff's 2010.
Although no, the original Atlantis Rising came out the same year as Robinson Crusoe, 2012.
Wow.
So that's interesting. I'm gonna make a note of that. That I do like that. Look, cooperative games can be more than Pandemic wannabes, than disaster mitigation.
Well, it's interesting because Lord of the Rings, which I consider to be the first modern day cooperative.
It is, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
No, it's not. Arkham Horror, the first edition from the mid '80s.
Yeah, there are other cooperative games, but like that, I think triggered cooperative games.
Yes,
But
Lord of the Rings is the first cooperative Euro.
Yeah,
instead of Ameritrash. But it came out in 2000, 2001. And I don't know, you were around this long at that point, Scott. Was it a big deal?
Which one?
What was Lord of the Rings a big deal back in 2000, 2001, whenever?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nifty, wasn't it?
Because no one had thought about cooperative games as a thing.
Yeah, except for games.
Except for like dungeon, right? Like you have dungeon games and stuff, but that's different with different type themes or whatever. What about Western Legends?
Which one?
Western Legends.
You think?
I don't know if that's been impactful because I was trying to think of it's innovative, right? As a sandbox game.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I would say Zaya Zaya came up before that as a sandbox.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know about Western Legend, but trying to identify the sandbox game is Zaya. Did the Firefly game come out before Zaya?
No, Zaya was first.
Was it?
Although
Did the game come out first though? That was like that one was really the first one. That Plan B Western sandbox game. I think that came up before Zaya.
No, Zaya was before Plan B.
Western game.
It was like I know which game you're talking about, but
Firefly
Zaya was before.
2013. Firefly's 2013. Zaya's 2014.
Ah,
Richard, do you have Dead of Winter or Battlestar Galactica on there?
wow, that's an oversight. See, that's the thing. I have blinders for so many things.
Well, I wouldn't say. I would
would,
not.
because
I
of the
would
nature of the
not
games.
include Dead of Winter because Dead of Winter was people were like, "This is really cool," but after Dead of Winter, like the sequel to it flopped. That Gen whatever it is totally flopped.
Gen 7.
Gen 7
But
flopped.
that's not the same kind of game.
But he's thinking
They're
of
supposed to
Crossroads,
be.
Crossroads.
innovative.
Yeah,
Crossroads.
yeah,
No, I was just thinking Battle. I was going with that. The
Board
hidden
game creator.
Right.
But Battlestar Galactica is
2008, and well before that, you have Camelot.
yeah, but Galactica was the one who made the traitor.
Hidden traders.
That I still play Galactica probably 10 times a year, and and every single time you play, we have a blast. It is
everything
so
like social deduction? Is it like was it the core of the social deduction game? Although it's not really a social deduction game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have Mysterium on the list because I do think that was a cornerstone for pretty much.
how about Dixit?
we have now?
Yeah, I was going to say.
2008, I think 2007.
Oh, there you go.
And that's the thing. Dixit spawned an industry, and then Mysterium made everybody think, "Oh, Dixit could be something else."
How about Splendor for the tiniest game in the largest box ever?
I don't appreciate that, but I do wonder if Splendor warrants.
I mean, there hasn't really.
It
It didn't spawn a lot of creations, but I know probably Splendor is the game I know more non-gamers have at their home than.
Yeah, Splendor.
But that
Prove to the industry you can have a monster hit if you make a really simple game with crazy awesome components. And then Azul rode that to the next level. And now every year it seems like there's a few quasi-abstract games that are like with just amazing production, and they do really well. And I think that's going to become, and it does start with Splendor, with those crazy poker chips.
Well, and those poker chips were shit. I mean,
I'm sure to an aficionado, but to somebody like me, they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know poker chips were so nice." I think that was the response of most people playing Splendor.
I think you might be overstating its impactfulness. I know it's an influential game, like it is a powerful game, but did it create a wave?
I agree with Scott on that. I think.
Cool, that's another game. But yeah, I agree with that. But what else?
Well, okay, but this also comes down to what is influential mean? Is it influential mean it has to spawn a bunch of games that come out right after it? Or is influential mean it's just becomes kind of the, to use a word, the zeitgeist of the board games? You know, like, so you have a thing like Gloomhaven is like a game that's like just it's the only game of its type that's out there that has all that content. I don't care what you can throw any game out there. Oh yeah, we threw in all these extra minis. No, Gloomhaven has, like as you said, like 10 games worth of stuff in it. No other game has ever come out with it, but it's still going to be, in a lot of people's minds, one of the most influential games because it is so ubiquitous and it is just so everybody. Oh yeah, Gloomhaven. We play Gloomhaven. You know, and just like. So I think you have to decide what influential means first.
Well, to me, I think for me, making this list, I'm trying to identify games that have changed the direction of the industry, either created new genres, which is why I would totally put Dominion on if it were in the last 10 years, or has inspired a new direction that publishers go in that has legs, that isn't just a flash in the pan and everybody's got to do their copy and then boom, everybody forgets about it in a year. That's why Dominion is long-term influential. But
yeah.
I mean, is there any
I mentioned
reading down the top games of the year 2010 and on?
I'll tell you what my list is right now.
Okay, go for it.
Crazy. I had Seven Wonders. I have Hanabi, which I think is a pretty big deal because I think we're seeing more and more and more the cooperative games where you can't fully communicate.
We just did Letter Jam. We just played that tonight, which is
Letter Jam has a direct beeline back to Hanabi.
Yep.
And there are so many games, code names, so many of them now.
I mean, did Mysterium fall under the Hanabi? Is Mysterium like a Hanabi though?
Yes,
technically
it is. But Hanabi is really more of a. Yeah, you're right. I might have to overlap there. I'll have to think about that.
I mean, here's the Hanabi could give Mysterium Hanabi was so influential. They had the idea to do Mysterium.
Yeah, and you're right. You could make that argument. I got to get it down to 10. I might have to drop Mysterium and just keep Hanabi. Yeah. I have Zombie Side because of its.
Everybody copies the Zombie Side model now. Yeah.
I'm really mostly just because I love them. I want to put Paperback on for 2 hours because after that we have had since 2014 we've had a bunch of really cool. Hey, this ain't your grandpappy Scrabble style word games. I mean, you just mentioned one, Letter Jam, and rethinking word games starts with Paperback.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm interested in that one. I'm really on the fence putting Trickerion in it.
Really?
Because you tell me of a Euro that came out before Trickerion that is, it's the same thing I was talking about with Gloomhaven, that kind of crazy, we are not exercising no editorial restraint at all. Everything goes into this box. Every idea we ever had. This is going to be so insanely complicated, but I don't know. And then it was a monster hit. And now that company, basically was it a Mind Clash? That's what they always do. And I think the crazy, overly articulated, just a bajillion and a half mechanisms to be thematic is now a thing that you can do and be successful at. I think because of Trickerion. Never mind the fact that Trickerion 5 years later is still super popular.
Yeah, I would call that mechanism bloat.
That's a good term. Oh, if I use it, I will call it that. That it made mechanism bloat a thing.
And Gloomhaven is
writing that down right now. I love that.
Trademark, by the way. No.
Yeah, but all right, I put in a TM.
Nah,
but I would say that in a good way because I do like mechanism bloat. And I think before Trickerion, the prevailing wisdom in Euros is no, it's got to be clean and elegant. It's got to be Reiner Knizia smooth. And Trickerion says, "Fuck that." You think Ameritrash games are complicated? Try our Euro here.
Is Trickerion the first of that ilk?
That's what I'm asking.
What year did Trickerion come out?
2015.
There's got to be something.
Well, the main thing I can think of is the works of Vito Lasarda.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Yeah. When did Vinos come out?
Yeah,
I think that's his first, right? Vinos is 2010. All right, that just went on the list. That might knock Trickerion off.
I'm sorting by.
You're just looking at all the big games.
I was looking at 2015 and earlier.
Yeah, when I started doing this, I basically just did an advanced search for every year and just sorted the most popular games.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Time Stories, I think, is a no-brainer. I think that one's an important one. Even if it's now the game everybody loves to hate on, but it still doesn't change the fact that was a pretty big sea change.
Which one?
Time Stories.
Cards Against Humanity, Richard.
Huh?
Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, fuck.
That's
You're right. That is why I asked this question, because that never would have occurred to me in a billion years, but you're right. I can't not put that on.
Does Dominant Species count as a mechanic soup kind of game? Mechanic bloat? I never played it. Are you including 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the beginning of it's the 10s.
Dominant Species came out in 2010.
Don't go ordinal on me with your decade stuff.
I don't know, whatever. 2010 High Frontier. But I don't think that counts.
Yeah. Dominant Species was 2010. You're right.
And Vinos was 2010.
Yeah. So I've made it.
I would probably pick Vinos because
might have to occupy that space that Trickerion did. But I don't know. I mean, Vinos existed for years as the only one that did it. And it's like, okay, it had a rabid following, but it wasn't
The only one that's popular. I'm sure with a game especially like that, there have been a couple of them that completely flew under the radar because their rule booklet was absolute hot garbage. That's one thing to consider.
But that's the thing. It can't be for the purpose of this. It can't be something that look, just because you did it first doesn't matter if nobody noticed.
If nobody paid attention.
Yeah, because that means that game didn't change the industry. The one that built on that and became a monster hit is the one that changed the industry. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't give credit to what came before. Oh, okay. So, Mansions of Madness, because that really struck me as the first really big success for app integration, and of course now you've got the QR murder mystery things, and you've got Lord of the Rings and all that.
Did you pick an exit game or an escape room game?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Which one?
I don't know which one was first.
Well, it doesn't matter.
One from a Spin Master, I think that was first.
It's probably going to be Exit the Game or Unlock, right? Those are the two big ones that broke through.
There was others before them, though.
No, yeah, there was the first one that was done was on Kickstarter. It was done by a couple of housewives who had an idea.
But it came out years later.
And it came out way too late, exactly.
Yeah, I would probably say Exit.
Yeah, but you're right.
Blue Orange Games did, that I think might have been the first one.
Which one?
Didn't Blue Orange Games do one of the first ones? That might have been. I might be mistaken. What about Golem Arcana?
I think Spin Master.
Because I remember that being the first big app game that really blew up. Golem Arcana. You remember that one?
Yes, I do. Well, yeah, it blew up in the wrong way, in that they went out of business and stopped supporting the app.
But
Night Opening Werewolf, wasn't that out before?
I think that werewolf one is the one that was made by the housewives, and they were on Kickstarter, but they ended up not actually getting into shippers' hands until after Unlock and Exit came out within 3 months of each other.
Michelle almost had a lawsuit in my hands, but Michelle almost got her eye poked out with it.
The werewolf one?
Hit her in the face, and it was like it
spinny thing?
It could have blinded her.
That spinny thing?
No, the one from the couple, the two ladies.
Well, which one? What was the thing? I remember they had a thing that like you had to spin it up and it spun or something like that.
No, it was a hidden thing inside of a hidden thing inside of a lock.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And it pops out.
They took that out of the reprint.
They better, yeah. I'm telling you.
And they replaced it with a really crappy alternative. Unfortunately,
it's really scary. She almost, an inch to the right would have got in there.
So the important thing is it worked. It served its purpose.
Oh yeah, it was way too. Yeah, but it was not. Anyway, it was dangerous.
Wow. Yeah, I never actually saw the original one. I only saw what they replaced it with some really kind of boring little thing. Right, but yeah, you're right. Escape room games, Cards Against Humanity. Thank you. That wouldn't have occurred to me at all.
When did Cards Against Humanity come out? Feels like it's been around forever.
Yeah. Cards Humanity. 2009. Oh, good. I can take that off the list. Because in all honesty, I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about
our crowd. That wasn't going to make Tom very comfortable. Cool. Let's see. I had Gloomhaven. I want to identify one that typifies that, is the tipping. That's what I'm talking about. I'm looking for games that are the tipping point for particular elements. And I'm looking for the tipping point of a game that did, what do you call it? Narrative books. And I want to do Near and Far. Near and Far wasn't the first one to do it. I mean, you could go all the way back to the Arabian Nights in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was probably the first one.
Nights. Yeah.
But I mean, nobody, that's only remembered by the hardest of hardcore geeks. And Near and Far, I think, well, it certainly is Ryan Lockett's best game until the next one comes out. But is there, in the last 10 years, a better tipping point for a narrative? Yeah, there's Agents of Smirch.
Agents of Smirch.
But that came out, I think, prior.
Dead of Winter.
No, Agents of Smirch is 2012. But I loved Smirch. Did it really catch on? I don't think it did.
No.
I mean, they went out of business.
Yeah.
And whereas, am I wrong? Am I just too close to it because I really love Near and Far? Is Near and Far not really a thing?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm looking at on BGG. I clicked on paragraph books as a mechanic, and I don't know if it's properly. This is a new one of the newer mechanics, right?
Okay.
From Jeff Eggleston and Isaac. And there's only like 31 games total listed, so it's hard to know for sure of what. I mean, there are a lot.
Yeah, that's why you need to have sales statistics in that column right next to it.
Yeah, like how many well, I do have owners, but
oh well, that's something.
Yeah.
I mean, is there one since 2010 that just like really stands out that boom, look at that? That's the first one in triple digits, or kind of a thing.
Legacy of Dragonholt, that's 2017. Near and Forest 2017. Some games. Yeah, Arabian Nights is 2009. That's a reprint, I guess.
Yeah, that's the reprint from the 80s one.
Did Robinson Crusoe have a paragraph book?
No.
Why does it have that as a mechanic?
It had different scenarios that you could do, and the scenarios had little paragraphs.
Oh, narrative choice / paragraph. Narrative. They're calling it narrative choice. And then Agents of Smersh, Dead of Winter, Above and Below.
Ooh, I've got one.
Above and Below is before Near and Far, right?
What about Star Realms, but not for the deck building, but for the compact game? We're not talking about a micro game. There was a lot of meat in there.
I would call Tiny Epic something.
Yeah, but I think Tiny Epic came after Star Realms. And I would say Star Realms inspired something like Tiny Epic. Like, why can't we put a whole freaking game into a small box?
Star Realms is
2014. Tiny
Star Realms is a copy, not a copy of Ascension, but it's derived from Ascension.
It is, but I'm going more.
Well, yeah, he's not talking about. He's talking about its impact in the industry to show. Look, publishers, you can have a monster success with just a small deck of cards.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the first Tiny Epic? It was Tiny Epic, not Defenders. That was the second one.
Realms or something.
I don't know. Wouldn't Love Letter be in that kind of game?
Kingdoms. Tiny Epic Kingdoms is 2014.
Yeah,
Star.
That still turns.
But you don't feel like you played a full meaty game after playing Love Letter. Whereas with Star Realms, you definitely do. I think.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. It's an interesting topic. It's one I had not considered.
But how many Star Realms games have there been out? Not really.
Is Star Realms really that big a deal?
Yeah.
Yes. I remember when that first came out. Like I remember like being like, "Where can I get this? Where can I get this?"
All right.
It's bigger than we think.
And it's the app. The app is what keeps it going because their app is just spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason.
But I still think that's a micro game.
No, I mean, a micro game is like 15 cards.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if Star Realms is a micro game, then San Juan is a micro game.
Ooh.
Yeah,
San Juan is way too early. I'd love to put it in because I love it.
Fighting words right there.
Do you have?
Here's a crazy thing. I wanted to try to think of some because these are all. It's kind of hard to pick any of them because you got to give them time to see if they actually have an impact. But I wanted to mention one from like the last year or so. And so for last year, tell me I'm crazy. I want to put Wingspan. And the reason for that is, one, it's such an insanely monster hit. I mean,
yeah.
My wife saw an article about it in Better Homes and Gardens the other day.
I feel like they hired some PR because that thing was everywhere.
Oh yeah, but I think there's a more than just look, it's got nice components and a user friendly subject matter. I mean, there's a lot of other games that have done that have not come anywhere near as made a big deal. Here's the thing that's special about Wingspan. It has all the trappings of a gateway that you can use to bring in your friends and family. It's approachable and all that, but it's not a gateway. It is not a Ticket to Ride or a Carcassonne. It is actually a deep, rich game. It is a gamer's game in gateway trappings. And I think that's pretty unique. And I think that might be part of why it's so successful, because I don't think anybody else has done anything quite like that. I mean, because if you're trying to make a game to play with your spouse, you can't make it heavy. But you can make it about birds and make it really pretty and put in really nice, components, but make it more abstract, make it more light, make it more gateway. And Wingspan didn't do that. But Wingspan converts people into game geeks after one game because it's a no hold barred engine builder. Am I crazy?
I think you're fine with that, but I think there might be something before that. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it's for the
I haven't really looked at, but I can't really remember anything. What's a gateway game in the past 10?
A gateway game. I mean, there's lots of gateway games, but a gateway game that has a full gamer's game's worth of depth in it.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
But what has come from it? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
You're predicting.
Nothing yet.
Yeah.
So this is me trying
That's
to
your number 10.
that I believe this will prove to be impactful. That if developers are smart, they are paying attention to its success and wondering, how can we get that success? It's not just because it's birds. It's not because it has little ceramic, pieces or a dice tower. It's not because it has Beth Soul parts. Lots of games do all those things. Why is it so hugely successful?
I might argue that Patchwork might be that game, though.
Really? Patchwork's pretty featherweight.
Well, is it?
Patchwork's about as heavy as Ticket to
You
Ride.
have to bid.
Do you?
You're spending more than you might want to, right?
Yeah. It has a very tiny economy. That's true.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, as themes
afterwards.
The thing that Wingspan has.
That is an interesting one, though. I have to put that on the list.
Is the theme the thing for Wingspan, though? Is that what you're saying? It's like because it crosses over so many. Because I mean, the game is good.
Which one?
The Wingspan thing you're saying. Yeah. I mean, the theme is awesome, right? It's incredible.
But it's not the first awesome themed game.
That's why I was saying Patchwork. I don't know. I feel like I'm being sexist by thinking of these things. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, what's not fantasy? What's not, but those are games for everybody. So,
yeah, I just have a hard time putting Wingspan on there just because I don't feel like it really. I don't.
Again, it's been out for less than a year. It hasn't had an opportunity to impact. I'm trying to do. We're actually going to do the list in chronological order. So we're going to start with anything. 2010. Can we think of anything? 2011, 2012, and I want to have something. Hey, did anything happen in 2019 that might prove to be important?
Okay, yeah, that actually works perfect. Then I think
that's my. I'm moonshotting it. I can't say if it does, but I do think there's something there. And the other one I can think of, again. Tell me I'm crazy. I want to put, and again, this is totally speculative. It has yet to be proven, but I want to propose that Maracaibo is going to be Alexander Pfister for years now has been trying to push look. We can put narrative story campaign stuff into Euros. He keeps doing it over and over. We were just talking about Newdale earlier. He just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. And now other games are starting to do it too. And Maracaibo just came out, and in my opinion, it is by far the best example of this. Because it's like the fifth time he's tried, and he gets better every single time. So I am supposing that when we look back in 5 years, we'll say, yeah, you know what? Now that every Euro comes out, it has a whole storyline. Who do we blame for that? It's Maracaibo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Maracaibo isn't even out in America yet, is it?
No.
So I'm really taking a guess.
Yeah, you're guessing there for sure.
Yeah, but I really admit it.
That's a different list. That's future predictions.
Yeah, exactly.
What things you think will have an impact?
Yep, and I don't have to. I could just take it easy and stop after 2007.
Yeah. You could play inside the constraints of what you have.
Yeah.
Did you pick any roll and write stuff from 20?
Should I mean, is there really anything roll and writes have done that Yahtzee didn't do in the 50s?
Yes.
I mean, when did roll and writes get a resurgence is really what the question is.
Yeah.
And why? Identify the game that did it. I don't know what it is.
Is it Quicks or what's the?
That's a really great question. I feel like a roll and write should be on
Nation 0.
I feel like I could make something on BGG that would graph like certain years of release of types of games. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, because I would say that's one of the most popular genres out right now. So that's one of the most popular genres out right now. So to not have one of the list when they've really gained this huge and massive popularity in just like the last 2 or 3 years, like Welcome 2 maybe might have.
You think?
Like Welcome 2 kicked in the door, but what was first? That's a really good question.
I mean, not what was first, but what was first to break through. Yeah. And Spooky Kid puts King of Tokyo. Motherfucker, I don't want to put King of Tokyo down.
You have
probably thinking about King of Tokyo, but I don't know.
I don't want to put shitty games on.
A monster fighting game, but like, does Did that generate a lot of monster fighting games?
No, not particularly, but it did bring about a resurgence of Yahtzee mechanisms. Right.
Rerolls and stuff. I mean, Quicks is 2012. Let me see if there's anything before that.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I have a total blind side to family style Quicks, those kinds of.
Yeah, I think Kabuki's right. I think King of Tokyo, like, to not put that in there is just a huge oversight. Because
I'll tell you another reason I don't have to is because I guarantee you Tom Vassell will put it in his.
Well, here's the question: what impact did King of Tokyo have? Like, are there a lot of monster fighting brawling games? Or I guess there is, right?
I think Richard put that in the Yahtzee mechanism. I think there's tons.
Oh, Yahtzee mechanism? That was not.
I mean, there's plenty of other games since the 50s that have done Yahtzee mechanisms, but I don't think. What game came before King of Tokyo that made people say, "Wow, this should be how all games are made"? Because after King of Tokyo's success, we get drowned in. Every year we get a bunch more Yahtzee roll, reroll. Yahtzee stuff finds its way into heavy Euros. It just finds its way into everything, and I think it's as a result of King of Tokyo. Yeah, I think Kabuki Kick is right.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Nice one, Kabuki. Nice one.
I think it was Kabuki who said that.
Sure.
Yeah. She also said roll through the ages. Just roll through the ages. Oh, that's way before.
That was way before 2010.
That's still a great game.
Roll through. Yeah, roll through, of course. Matt Leacock. No, but that was the same year, 2009, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Although even if it is, it's 2008. So, and okay, there you go then. Was it King of Tokyo that popularized Yahtzee stuff, or did Roll Through the Ages already do it and King of Tokyo is building? Because Roll Through the Ages was very, very successful.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm seeing if there's something before Roll.
Yep. And also, not for nothing,
there was something before Roll.
Is also a roll and write.
Oh,
so
Roll Through the Ages is a roll and write.
Yeah, so it takes
a roll and write. It is a roll and write.
Yep. And I would say it's probably, it was super successful. People loved it. I could certainly see that being, that years later people said, man, why hasn't anybody else done a Roll Through the Ages? We should make one. Let's make it about suburbs in France.
So here's an interesting thing. Roll Through the Ages was made in 2008. The next highest popular roll and write game is 2012.
Yeah.
Quicks.
It is Quicks.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. Vast. For really, because we've seen a lot of
that one. We talked about Vast and Root and their kind of origins in the coin games earlier.
Okay. Zularedo Dice Game came out in 2012.
Which one?
Zularedo the Dice Game. I never played it. But I don't know if that has that roll through.
I don't think that one has as much impact staying power.
I'm just looking for older roll and write.
Here's another one I thought about, and I don't remember why I left it off. Orléans.
I was trying to think of something, but what did it do? Bag building? But there's only like 3 bag building games out. I mean, it's not that many.
Is that true?
I don't think
it feels like is.
What else is there a bag build? Because here's the deal. Besides, because we were looking at all the bag building games to see if we wanted to do expansion bits for them. And facts.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Certainly it was influential in creating the bag building genre, but if that's not that big a genre, then it's probably not worth talking about.
Is it? I could be proven wrong. I didn't really look that close.
I think you might be right, because I feel like I would have played every single one that's come out, and I feel like I played maybe a half a dozen over the last when did that come out? 2014. Over the last 6 years.
This is super interesting.
More popular. I love those.
Since
Paul Tompkins says Terraforming Mars.
But what did that do?
I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't think it did anything. It just did everything really well. Right?
Well, it did do production values very well.
It's
ugly as hell. It's incredibly prone to bumps.
Yeah.
It's a terrible 2-player game.
It's drafting and tableau building, right?
Really? I don't like it. These 2-player games.
I overspoke. It's fine, but I was very disappointed with the way they did their 2-player scaling. I think they could have done a much better job.
That's fair.
Yeah, and they basically just didn't. They said, 2 players? You have to do 4 players' work.
Yeah, that is very fair.
Yeah.
So
Flip
this
the
is
board over and give me
let's go back to Roll One Right real quick.
Come on. It's not that hard to scale for 2 players.
So just to go back to Roll and Right real quick. Do you consider Roll Through the Ages the definitive Roll and Right that brought back Roll and Rights? Because I think it's Quicks.
You
Because
think?
it was Roll Through the Ages came out in 2008,
Roll Through the Ages came out in 2008, yes, and Quicks.
and Quicks came out in 2012, 4 years later.
I say
And
I have a total blind spot here because
nothing.
I've never played it. I've never cared about it.
Right.
I mean,
And it's good. It's really good. You should play it. But I'm just saying, like,
all right.
I think Quicks might be the one. I don't know if you want to even include Roll and Rights, but there's been a billion Roll and Rights, obviously, right? But it didn't. I don't think they came from Roll Through the Ages.
And you think it the trend, and there's no doubt about it. It's the hottest thing, and it has been for a few years now. You think it traces back to Quicks? How do you spell
Yeah.
by the way? Q-U-I-X?
QWIXX.
Q-W. Well, I don't want to do it just because of the way it's spelled. I like nothing about this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm surprised you haven't played Quicks. It's probably it's really great. I don't know.
I'm sure it is, but
Yeah.
for the same reason I don't like Gone Shown Clever. I can put a theme on it or I don't care.
Okay.
And they could have. They
Yeah,
just
they
didn't.
could have. They could have.
I mean, they literally took the theme out of Gone Shown Clever. It was actually a farming simulation game like Agricola. Is the way it was designed, and the publisher said, "Yeah, let's just take all that out and just say it's colors instead of different types of livestock." I'm like,
Could be crops. Yeah.
the game would have been 10 times better.
See, I don't need a theme, but yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm looking to see if there's one earlier, but I don't think there is.
I think you might be right. I think you have probably identified patient zero there, so I will have some consideration. That's the other thing too. I don't really want to talk about games that I personally don't care about.
Have you ever played Nuns on the Run?
No, I'm familiar with it.
But it has dice rolling and writing.
I mean,
But I don't think
it was such a non-event, right?
Quicks was nominated for Spiel des Jahres.
Kabuki Kid argues Scythe for the production quality of the indented boards.
No,
I mean, because now that's
it
become
was no, it was
that has now become a standard go-to. Look, you got to do your double layer player boards.
dual layer boards.
Nothing to do with the
I
game.
feel like there's been
just
something
dual
else
layer
before
boards.
that. There has to be something before that. He
But-
didn't invent it.
But if anybody puts dual layer boards in their game now, it's because Scythe did it, right?
Probably.
Wait, didn't Zombie Apocalypse do that?
Doesn't Kemet do it?
What's Zombie Apocalypse? Yeah, it doesn't.
Or what was the what? Not Zombicide. What's the other one that came out just a couple months after it?
They were both on Kickstarter at the same time.
Didn't Zpocalypse really
Zpocalypse.
step up the games on the components though? Like
I
in
know
particular,
nothing about that game.
Yeah, I don't know.
because I think they did actually have that before Scythe did. Well, obviously before Scythe did.
Yeah, but it seems like that as a production goal is only recently, within the last year or so, become a thing.
But it's so rare to me to see them. I don't know. Like,
Is it? I mean, I don't know.
I don't feel like it's really a trend.
Okay.
I mean, there's a
You
I
lose
don't-
like it.
it's there. I mean, it's definitely a trend. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think it's like, yeah, everything's dual layer boards now.
Yeah. Paul
It's
also
really
says Escape Curse of the Temple, which I love. It was in my top 10 for a long time.
Wooden dice,
I don't think that really spawned a wave of real-time cooperative.
real time cooperative could be a thing, but
Could it?
maybe.
What? I mean, I think that's pretty scattershot.
Yeah, it feels like there has been a lot of real time stuff though.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Nothing good.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not my favorite.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, yeah, there's certainly a player base for it, but I don't think those tend to really catch fire. Like Tale of Pirates and Kitchen Rush and Rush MD that just came out from Artipia.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good games, but I mean, you know what? Project Elite, when CMON reprints it,
Yeah.
I bet you that's going to change. I'm going to put Project Elite on.
Restart everybody's fervor craze for real time.
Yep, this is going to be Project Elite 2nd edition. This is going to be another one of my prediction ones. It hasn't even come out yet. And nobody got to play it when it first came out because of all the crazy drama with the minis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it was brilliant, and it does. Yeah, I think I just can talk myself into that one. Descent is way before 2010, surely. Yeah, of course it is.
What about X-Wing?
Which one?
X-Wing.
Oh, X-Wing.
Huh.
Well, X-Wing. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only thing that did was spawn an X-Wing mini industry.
But here's the thing: X-Wing derived from a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a World War II game, right? The same curve things and all that.
Yeah, flight something or
yeah, and it's not like everybody's bending over backwards chasing after making their own X-Wing.
No, there's only been
did with Wingspan, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the.
What was the name of it? There's a battle.
Doesn't Gale Force 9 have a Battlestar Galactica version or something like that?
I wouldn't call that an industry changer though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If we're having to wonder, is there one? I'm not sure. Then even if there is, it probably wasn't a big enough deal.
Wings of War is the original.
Yeah, that's true. Wings of War was the original.
Yeah.
Now it's from Ares.
Wait,
for information about games.
That business model is very popular, though.
Wings of War came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have besides X-Wing?
Well, you have Star Trek, you have the Plaid Hat one, and maybe you have a Battlestar Galactica one.
That's not industry changing.
Yeah, I don't think
it's.
I would argue Song of Ice and Fire falls into that same thing where they can release. I look at the mini genre and how many games now just have that they released, one or two minis that add very minimal to the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Living card games is living card games a thing?
Ooh,
Fantasy Flight though, right? Because they trademarked it.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones doing it.
Yeah, they're pretty much the only ones doing it.
Yeah. They should keep doing it.
Other people do expandable card games.
Yeah.
But
I think the idea of expansions were popular before 2010.
and that's really interesting. Living card games have not taken off on other companies. Right? What other living card games are out there besides
Fantasy Flight? Yeah, I mean, I guess there might be some.
What? I can't think of any. I mean, you could probably call Sentinels in the Multiverse an expandable card system.
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
They stopped making it, right? It's like done.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, these are not like Seven Wonders creating for drafting games where everybody's got 3 drafting games.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Why is Fantasy Flight are the only ones that can do living card games?
They trademarked it.
No, but I'm just saying, you could just make it.
You're right. That is a good question.
You can't trademark the.
What is it about their infrastructure?
Card game. Yeah, what is it?
You know what? Is a living card game going to succeed without a license?
No.
Yeah. So there you go. They have enough money to buy licenses.
Well, there's a million licenses out there, but nobody makes them. Like, why is there not a Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles? There's not a million Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Marvel,
DC, Batman, TMNT. I don't know.
You're right. Why hasn't IDW a living card game of TMNT?
All their living card games really.
IDW.
I mean, that's like a small niche in the hobby too.
Yeah, I mean, it appeals to. You're right. I think so.
I was going to make this comment before I heard my cat screaming. I stopped caring about living card games when they killed off Call of Cthulhu, which was the best living card game.
There's another one. Yeah. Again, from Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, we were trying to think of has it extended outside of its.
Yeah, when they killed off the Call of Cthulhu LCG, I was not happy.
I have all of it, and it's this big. It's a huge suitcase, and it's like, what do you want more of? Like, where do you go from there?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I always wanted more cards. I just found it cool, just all this stuff.
Pathfinder adventure card game. That's the other living card.
That's the other living card.
There you go.
What a pile of crap that is.
Which is tied to a license. Very popular license.
Oh, yeah, it's tied to a license.
And a horrible game.
Where's the D&D living card game?
That would be Dragonfire.
Yes, and my daughter loves it.
Is it living? Have they? I thought they stopped.
They haven't put out anything for over a year.
Yeah, that's
It
dead.
would
not be living anymore.
A living card game is like once a quarter, right? Or like
Yeah.
maybe once two a year or something like that.
But some folks are wondering, well, what about Star Realms? Keeps on putting stuff out. Is it a living card game? It doesn't feel like it to me. I'm not quite sure why though.
Imperial Settlers.
I don't think so.
Or Imperial.
I'll say this: I really like that Shards of Infinity game that those two guys made for Upper Deck. It's like a really, really good. I hate to say this, deck builder.
It's hard.
It's good.
It's a
You know,
brawler card game.
I need to make a montage of you saying that for about, I don't know, 20 different Kickstarter games you have covered over the last 5 years.
But there's tons of games out there that I played that were deck builders that were garbage. So
I have no evidence of that.
well,
Do you like Magnum Opus, Lance? I can't remember.
What?
Do you like Magnum Opus or not?
I don't know what you got there, Forrest.
Castle Dawnstone. This is a really interesting 2-player and solo deck builder. I shot a video. It's really good. It's on the Game Crafter. It needs better rules. It needs a second edition. But it's
Are you still doing that Game Crafter thing?
what?
Are you still doing Are you still the voice of Game Crafter?
For the time being, I think I've got like 1 week left on the contract. I don't know if they're going to send me more games, but somebody actually was like, "Hey, I like what you're doing with the Game Crafter games," so they sent me this. This is really cool. Like, this needs to be picked up by a publisher. Like, you have your own kingdom, and you have meeples, and you're moving meeples and upgrading like your castles. You can get special abilities. It is really an interesting game. Castles of Dawnstone. Really cool if you like deck building, especially 1 and 2 players. Like this one a lot. Check that one out.
All right.
deck builder.
Except it's Game Crafter.
It is Game Crafter, but the gameplay itself, very, very solid. There's a lot.
I mean, Captain is Dead came from Game Crafter. That was a good game.
Yep. Very good game.
Yeah, every once in a while people ask, "Hey, would you cover my Game Crafter game?" I'm like, "No, God, no," because if I do that, I will just get buried under an avalanche of, "Well, you cover my Game Crafter game, will you cover mine?" And it'll never stop.
Yeah. You just don't like the components, or just you think
they're fine? It's more just. I mean, there's thousands of games there.
There's no barrier.
Every one of the designers of every one of those would happily send me a copy if I would film it for them, and I just don't want to open that door.
Like an hour and a half ago, I said, "Should I back it or not?" And then,
yes, we're prepared.
So if we could circle back, do I back it or not? And this is Kanban, Eagle Griffin, the really, really nice version of it, like following the footsteps of all the ones before it or whatever.
Have you played it ever?
Well, I played Kanban, the original one. I liked it.
You liked the game?
I didn't like it enough to keep it. I remember I gave it to somebody or sold to somebody.
I'm just being honest, right? Like, when are you going to play it? If you don't really like the game, you're not going to.
Well, and then the thing is that
thing aside, if you want all the Vital Lacerda games, then you should buy it.
Yeah, just
but
so you can have
play it.
And the other thing about that's preventing me from like clicking on it is like they always sell those Kickstarter versions at the conventions anyway. So like if after the fact I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. It's easy enough to get.
Maybe.
And Kanban did not stick with me as well as like the Gallerist stuck with me.
What was the other game that came out at the same time as Kanban? That was like another
Automania?
No. You're thinking of the Panamax.
Panamax.
Oh, you're thinking of Panamax. Okay.
And I think Panamax is a better game.
Yeah.
Not for 2 players, it's not.
Well, join the rest of the world who have more than one friend. So
nope. I just need one. Kanban is of all the Stars games, I think it is my favorite one, actually.
Which one?
I really liked it a lot.
Say again.
Kanban. And we really like Vinos. We really like CO2. We really like Gallerist. Lisboa was a bit too much for us, and I think Mars is a bit too much for us. He's just gone crazy with the heavy.
I played on Mars for like the 3rd time at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I noticed my daughter was playing Taverns of Tiefenthal because there was no way on earth I was going to subject her to On Mars. And man, I had to teach it to the other people because they really wanted to play it. And these are like the heaviest of the heavy gamers. I mean, these are the people that like I rely on for. They always they wear their dry Euro war badges with honor. And two of them said this game sucks. It's too heavy. They were like,
really?
They were just like, I don't like this at all.
Which
this
part?
Is,
the limited resource management part?
Yeah, I mean, it was
that's
just
the hardest part in that game.
Yeah.
Like if you run out of resources, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
They were just like, yeah, I don't like this. There was like a weird like barrier there that they just couldn't get past. Which, you know, I really like the game. I think it's good. You know, and but you know, whatever. You know, I mean, hey, not every game is unique for every person. You know, so.
I think I've come to that realization in my life now. The really heavy stuff is just no good for me.
Yeah.
Especially if I can't play it well on the first game. Like if I can't, like I got myself trapped in On Mars where I just literally had no idea what to do. So just doing random things that I could do with no intention of trying to win. Right.
So I kind of, I fall in the same spot as you a little bit. Yeah. Because like, and this might be this, and this is going to sound really arrogant, but I'm like, you know, I've played like 1,000 games. I should be good at this. You know, I should be able to grok this.
Yeah, it hands you your hat, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I like an accessibility to a game where I can kind of figure out what I should do. Where if I'm stuck in a game where I have no idea what to do, that hurts, right? Like I just check out. Now, further play, I could say, well, I made a mistake here when I built my second oxygen generator. I should have built the mine, like those kinds of decisions, right? But I don't. It's such a heavy, long game that, like, do I really want to play it again to make that one decision differently to see what changes? I don't know.
So I'm sorry. Did you say why Kanban didn't stick with you? Your first time through, or do you remember?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, that was the question.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Scott. Sorry.
Oh, we're back to back.
Yeah.
I think it's a good segment we should have.
It's been beaten to death, so we don't have to keep going with it.
No, I mean, it was like one of those things where it's like, I mean, I played it the 2 or 3 times, but I think there was just, I think if it hadn't come out at the same time as Panamax did, and I just really, really liked Panamax so much more.
Bad timing.
So yeah, it's like a bad timing thing. It was like when it came time to play a heavy game, because I love the fact that Panamax had like the whole how do I get my ships through, but that wasn't even what mattered. It was like your stocks were all that mattered, and it was like this. There was like the ships getting across was this cool little mini game on that was just a fragmented part of the economic action that was going on. I want them to do a deluxe version of Panamax. I want a deluxe Panamax. I demand it.
I would say
Stephen Bonacore, get on that.
Back it. I don't know. Back it or not. I guess you're 50-50 here, right? Like, how you like the first game or not. Like,
and it's just like,
I don't know. Has it changed at all?
They've included an expansion that gives player unique special powers, so that's always nice.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. So I didn't back Escape Plan because I was just like, whatever. And then I was at Origins and they were selling it, and I ended up I had the money on me. I was like, you know what? I feel dumb not having this. I have all the other ones that they've done. I got the Vinos. I got the Galaris. I've got Lisboa. I was like, I'm gonna feel really stupid not having this one.
Well, then you should get it.
Yeah, I think collector complete set syndrome is a real thing, and I don't think there's anything
wrong.
But
I'm trying to break myself of that. I'm totally trying to break myself of that.
But not with Kanban, is it?
Don't do it on this one. Do it on like some other series that's about to come out. Like the next. Are you buying the next Elias games? Aaliyah? Are you buying?
No. Well, but I'm getting rid of my key stuff. Like I'm just like because I haven't played Keyflow or I haven't. What?
You haven't played it?
No, I played it. Definitely played it. I just, I haven't played Keyflower in like 3 years, and so like probably my favorite key game.
Yeah,
it's just like, well, obviously I don't really like it that much if I haven't played it, in like 3 years.
Sure. Play it again, you'll remember how much you love it.
But I love Keyflower.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Oh yeah, Keyflower is the best. It's in my top
Keyflower's
10 of all
awesome.
time.
Keyflower is like a top 10 of all time for me too.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is.
Yeah, but there's no reason to keep any of the other Key games, except for maybe Key Market. Key Market's very good too, and it's just got a reprint finally.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I gotta buy that reprint because it has the 4 extra things.
Yeah, 4 extra pieces.
And I'm so mad at it on.
Yeah, so back it. It's the deluxe thing, and it's a heirloomish type thing.
I don't think I'm gonna buy it with the 40 metal cars though.
No, I skipped that.
It has metal cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's $100 add-on, right?
No, it's a $50
No,
add-on.
How much?
$50 to get the metal
50.
cars.
Yeah, that's what I when I said
Are there
100, it
pictures of the metal
felt like
cars?
a big amount to spend.
See, this is how this is one of those times too where I'm like I'm a douchebag because I'm like I'm pretty sure I could snag those cars if I could go sweet talk them over at the Eagle Griffin. I know the people over there. I could probably give them because they're gonna sell those as an add-on at conventions. I'm pretty sure I could go sweet talk. It was just one of those things. Yeah,
You're funny, Lance.
yeah, I know. Well,
You're a schemer.
well, no, because this is horrible. I was at Con of the North, and so Con of the North, there are three publishers that are always at Con of the North. It is Thunderworks Games because he's based in Wisconsin, so it's like a 3-hour drive for him.
No, that's why you're like a cartographer.
Well,
I'm kidding. It's a good game.
No, Keith's awesome. I love Keith, and role players are great too. But Ben Harkins from Floodgate Games because he lives in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then Patrick Leader lives in Plymouth, Minnesota, which is close, and then so Leader Games is there, and so what?
Did you get a new route expansion or something?
No, so I went over and I was just talking to Patrick for a little bit, and I was just like, "How you been, man?" And because he and I have known each other forever now, because he's been going. Because I was playing games with him before he was a publisher. He was just hanging out at Con of the North, and before he started publishing games, so we were sitting there and we were BSing or whatever, and then I was just like, I feel so stupid. I was like, I didn't back Oath. I should have, and he's like, I'm not going to send you one. Just, he's like, you never have to back any of my stuff. I'll just give it to you. And I was just like, oh, thanks, Patrick. It's like, yeah. And then I'm like, that's pretty cool. And it was like one of those things where I felt
Let it go to your head, Lance.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm kind of a douchebag for
because here's the deal. No one's going to say no to you to your face, right? But in the back of their mind, they're going to be like, God damn it, Lance, always mooching for something. If you want people to talk to you about like that, then think of you like that. Then do your thing.
No, I said, can I late pledge? Because I'll give you the cash. I said, I'll give you the cash. And he's like, no,
of course not. Yeah. I'm just saying.
They pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Hey, Rainer is here. What's up, Rainer?
What? What are you talking about, Rainer?
Rainer Alforce.
Oh, I got you. I did get my review copy of Imperial Rails and Spells or whatever. I got to play it though. Still, I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. If it's worth the shelf space. So
yeah, I know it is a.
It's got the expansion box, game. A third bigger than the box, and so it's.
Yeah, and I didn't get the expansion. It'll be something where if I play it and I like it, I'll probably have to get the expansion.
Has anybody done a review on it yet?
Yeah, I was gonna play it. I was gonna play it a couple days ago.
Vassal did.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Here's the thing. Me and Tom don't agree on games, so I watch them sometimes, but I don't ever match up with them. So I don't like anybody anymore. People seem to love these really, really heavy games, and I just don't.
That's because you have a little tiny brain.
Why do I come on here?
You know what it is, Scott, and I'll tell you exactly what it is, and it's the same problem I have. It's like it's that myth of the heavy gamer, right? And you and I both agree. It's like
you think of fantastic. You're gonna have these fantastic gameplay scenarios in your head. Like,
Look, here's the deal, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like, we cut our teeth on games like we played D-Mocker before D-Mocker was like a reprint and all. Like, yeah, and Kayla, we played heavier stuff, and we had fun with those games. But here's the deal: you and I play games like Cartographer, or just like all those 7,000 word games that you have, and you are having the same exact like game experience and feeling of the game experience from playing that big 3-hour game. And it's just like, oh, like you could sit down and play The Crew for an hour, and you're really digging it the entire time. Now, and then you're like, oh, well, why would I bother with learning 7,000 different rules about how to move this lever and push that cube and grab that tile and do this, when I could be having and admittedly have a lot of fun doing that, but like, when I could just play Crew.
It is the case of empty calories versus a nutritional meal, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that metaphor.
Filler games, right? I mean, I love them, but I don't remember them.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's kind of like where I go back to.
I still like heavy games, but I don't. It's just lately I've not clicked with anything.
Well, it's like I say, like I really look forward to somebody teaching me those games. Like, it's like
I've taught all these games. Like, I don't have to read the rules. I never.
Yeah.
I've not had to read rules. Luckily, we've got some people in our group that would do the rules. Although,
somebody reminded me of like I played Grand Austria Hotel at the convention, and I love Grand Austria Hotel. And plus, we had 3 players, which was the exact right number to have because of the serpentine place round structure. I love that game, but I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, and I was like, I didn't have to remember. I mean, there was like a brief little refresher of the rules, so I hadn't played it in a year. But I mean, pretty soon I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was getting it, and I was having fun. I played Shipyard for like the first time, and like since the last time I was at Con of the North. I love Shipyard. I love that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like, but I wasn't like, there was a lot of people playing like, oh, hey, here's the brand new giant whatever game. I was like, even though you can teach me the rules, I just don't want to play it. I'll just play another game of Cartographer and make my little map, and like, because that was just like, it was really easy just to kind of just fall back on that stuff.
Sure.
I don't know.
I go through like peaks and valleys of gaming.
It's such a production. It's such a production to play a game that's like 2 or 3 hours. To like just sit there and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna play this for 3 hours. What if it sucks? What if you get halfway through it and you're not having any fun and you're still tied up for another 90 minutes?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for me is the 10-minute downtime between turns in these heavy games, right? 10 to 15 minutes for 4-player games. It's killer.
And the thing is, for me, and I'm not saying everybody else has to do it like this, but for me, like, I'm like the person where like I will like purposely like not have my phone anywhere near me when I'm playing games, because I'm just like, I don't want to be the person that turns done, back on my phone, just like, because that annoys the piss out of me.
I turned into that guy during On Mars.
I believe you. On Mars has got
I timed our turns. It was 15 minutes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I gotta do something during these 15 minutes. And then my turn come around and I'll be like, I forgot what I was going to do, guys. Help me out. And then I piss somebody off with that. So I shouldn't do that. But I honestly forgot what I was going to do. I knew what I was going to do 15 minutes ago. I should have written it down.
I taught Urban Sprawl to 3 people, and one out of those 3 people enjoyed it. And I even set them up there like, I always wanted to play this. Like one guy said, I've owned this ever since I saw your review of it X number of years ago. I bought it and I haven't played it yet. And I was like, well, I'll teach it to you. And he was the only guy who liked the game. The other 2 people.
That's purchase bias.
Well, probably.
You kind of have to like the games you buy.
But I mean, the other 2 people were just like, they hated the fact that turns took a little bit longer, and plus that you couldn't do any planning. And I even said that. I said, you're not going to be able to plan your turn in this game. You can't. can't plan your turn.
That's another problem. If I can't plan a turn and I have to wait 15 minutes for my next turn, that just kills it. Like, I'm done. I can't play those games anymore.
The one game I wanted to play at the convention that I played was Dominant Species, because that's usually the one long game that I really, really enjoy, because it's such a cutthroat, convoluted mind bender of a game, and I really enjoy that whole process. But that was the one game that I didn't get to play. That was like, but I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, wouldn't it just be easier if I could just, not
You got
like
rules for TableCon?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like
Make a variant.
I'll quote Scott Nicholson, and he says like conventions are not a place to learn games. He's like, how many times did I walk by people that like there's three people sitting at the table staring at the board, and there's one person that's like this reading the rules,
I've been there, but I understand that's not ideal. It depends on how crazy I am for a game that I really want to play it, no matter what, right? And under any condition.
Yeah.
There's less and less of that these days, but every once in a while.
Yeah. But then again, have you ever had a game that like you enjoyed and then you had one bad experience playing it and you were like, I never want to play that game again?
Yeah, I did actually. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was something recent.
Mine was Le Havre. I used to love Le Havre, but then like I had one bad experience and I'm just like, no. Just gotta stay away from.
There's a guy here in I was iffy on Le Havre, like for its like length and strategies. I never really got a Le Havre strategy. I just played random, like whatever, make stuff, right? But then I really found out that I really disliked it when I played with my neighbor. He came over, he beat me by 300 points, and I'm like, that's not my game. Done. And here's the thing: I don't care to invest the thought into it either. Whereas he's taking minutes and minutes and minutes of turns, and I'm like, yeah, done. And then I sit for 10 minutes, wait, take a turn. I take my turn very quickly. 10 minutes goes by. Like, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore.
Well, that's rough.
Yeah, it's just those experiences that maybe I do like Le Havre. I do like it. I think it's a cool game. I'll play it on the app. But I'm not like, I would never be to that level where I really want to spend 10 minutes evaluating everything to do the best move possible. Like, I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm a Twitch gamer, not a strategy gamer.
But have you always been that way?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the only game where I really put a lot of Tigers and Euphrates is probably the game I put the most thought into out of any game I've ever played. That's because I played it online on BGG back in the day when you could play on BGG.
Yeah,
because you were doing it was asynchronous, asynchronous. What's the word? Synchronous, where you could take a day to take your turn. Right, I would do like one move a day per game.
Oh yeah.
Play by mail.
Well, this was on BGG. It was a web.
Oh, really?
It wasn't real time. Yeah, it was before your time. Used to be able to play Tigers and Euphrates on BGG. I coded it up after I met Reiner. He doesn't remember this, but in 2000, I met him in Essen, and I said, I'm going to code Tigers and Euphrates on Board Game Geek. Are you okay with that? And he said, yeah, that sounds cool. So I don't know what he said. And then maybe he didn't understand me, but then like 10 years later, I said, I'm taking down the Tigers and Euphrates on Board Game Geek. He's like, you had Tigers and Euphrates on Board Game Geek? And I go, well, I met you in 2000 and you said I could do it, so I kind of did it. But it was like so long ago, right? Like no one knew what electronic rights were.
You'll hear from my lawyers.
Anyway,
Hi, German.
I'm not making money off of it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway,
Speaking of stuff on Board Game Geek, Scott, did you just like sneak in a new feature with the way designer pages are now?
Oh yeah.
When did you change that?
Yesterday.
And did everybody hate it, or did nobody notice?
Oh, people notice. People notice.
They always notice. Right?
Oh yeah, people hate it, of course. But whatever. I can't. I have reasons. I will tell you offline.
Oh,
Hey, just so you know,
we need
all
to
these-
hang
all
this
these
episode
paintings-
up.
Hang on, I got two things I got to tell you now. What was the first one? That was a spoiler, I think, or something.
Yeah, it was something you didn't like. You didn't want to spoil it. I don't remember what though.
Oh,
It's something to do with Legacy Games.
King's Dilemma,
Yes.
which I think is a good game for the record. It's just not for me.
All right. Any other changes or just that one?
Oh, it's more. Well, there's more. Any page that was Legacy is going to be converted. Like
What do you mean?
with that Legacy look of the older, the million table pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
What pages are there like that?
I'm in sort of a weird place right now with this. Why I'm doing this, and I want to tell everybody, but I also don't want to tell everybody because
I know.
I probably will eventually tell everybody in the industry.
I know.
I'm currently at this point where I don't want to tell everybody in the industry.
I know.
Lance knows. Yes, don't tell him anything, Lance.
How does Lance know?
Nothing to tell.
Lance knows everything.
I know because Aldi can't say no to
I've
me.
considered telling everybody in the industry, and I'm holding back for the time being. But time is of the essence. So
Well, how did Lance find out?
we're just shooting the shit?
Ah, shit shooter.
It's an
Uh,
important thing, unfortunately.
It is.
I mean, I hate to say it, everybody in the industry should know about it, but I can't tell anybody yet.
We need to hang this.
It sucks. I can't. I know you'll never figure it out.
Yeah, Scott, because I am really curious.
I will tell you after we hang up.
Okay.
And maybe I should.
This Zoom is over. If I had to hang up quit button, it'd be over now.
I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. Really, it's hard actually.
those nights where it was. I think even Barry knows what it is because Barry was just hanging out in the background.
Yeah, Barry was doing his chill.
Were you guys just chatting at the end of
Barry's
last
the
week's
listener.
call? You hung up or something?
Yeah, we were
Barry's
at the end of the show.
Guy incognito, just he's hanging out there in the back.
Every single viewer,
The holder of all the secrets of the
yeah,
game.
he has the secrets.
Yes.
Hey, Forrest.
What's up?
Nobody else wants to talk about this, but I'm just curious. Is there any chance you're going to keep doing your Yang videos?
Probably not. Just
Aw.
because.
You got to
Just
see it
because-
through.
Well, the thing was they weren't getting that popular.
Yeah.
And now
And Yang $1,000 a month. So
You
Well,
deserve
he did
great
it-
farmers
he did
and
it
reference
in
material.
2024. He did a job with CNN so he could actually not get blackballed by the media next year. Or next, he's thinking it through. But no, now I'm mostly just looking at it and seeing what I can use at the city council level. Like I just unveiled a couple days ago my plan that I want to get body cams for every cop in my local town, and so now I'm mostly using it and cherry picking ideas that I think are things that could be done at a smaller level instead of doing the videos.
There's a question to you, and not you have to give me an answer. Would
Do I seem like the kind of guy who won't give you an answer, Lance? I'll give you.
would
Do you have a
institute?
Yeah.
You don't sit on all that key information like Aldi, who has true revelatory information that the entire industry needs to know, but he's keeping it to himself while teasing it on the
believe me, I take no joy.
online.
I
will say that
in it. I take no joy in it. Believe me.
Richard, it is something that like I'm going to say this.
When I find
It's
out,
something that people should know about,
No.
but if it's publicly known, it
No,
could actually.
Stop talking.
We'll stop talking.
Yeah, done.
the king of spoilers must be stopped.
No, so
These guys talking again.
Lance, let's segue back to that. You had a question for me.
This is not
okay. If you mandate body cams for every police officer, one, does that include police officers who are doing desk jobs?
No, they would have to be on the beat.
Do you
Okay.
have a police brutality in your city?
Two, would there be reprimands, like real reprimands for officers who forget to turn them on or have them malfunction in some way?
Well, I would ideally like to make it, and my wife actually gave me this idea that I thought was great, where essentially there would be a maybe 3 to 6 month period where we would let it slide if the camera was not on. They would not know about this, but after that point,
Well, they're going to know now.
It would be, well, yeah, I'm sure the Fort Wayne Police Department
has far reaches.
But it would be the kind of thing where after that 3 to 6 month period, there would be some very severe punishment because everybody behaves better on camera. It's just everybody does. They implemented this, I think, in Las Vegas and some part of California, and they saw an 88% decrease in complaints. And Scott, to bring to what you said about the police brutality, that's like a very extreme situation. What really happens a lot of the time is there's just these he said, she said situations where we don't know. And with the audio and the video, we're much more likely to know. And being able to know that is going to make it so that we don't have to go to court, that we don't have to have these police officers filling out paperwork or sitting behind a desk while they're figuring out if they're going to be suspended or not. Because my city is actually, I think it's like the number 30th out of 50th worst like crime for murder rate I saw a couple days ago. We have a big crime problem because our city is growing rapidly and we're not focusing on the people. But
okay, well, let me. I have a follow up for you.
Go for it.
So there's a fantastic book that you can download for free off Amazon, or you can pay them $5 for. It's written by a lawyer who's got a ton of videos that says you have the right to remain silent. It's something along those lines, and basically it's about your Fifth Amendment rights, about not having to be a witness to yourself, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the compounding problems is that police officers are allowed to flat out lie to suspects. They talk to anyone because they're attempting to get a confession or get information out of them. Like a police officer is able to just tell somebody, look, we know you did it. We got you on camera, even though they don't have them on camera. Just admit it now and you'll be fine. That kind of thing. Like, if you tell us now, we'll let you go. They even say things like that. Like, there's like out and out lies that people tell them. And the thing is that then it's, as you said, it's a he said, she said situation after the fact. The convict says, he told me this. And the police officer says, like, hell, I said that. I didn't say that at all. But they got the confession. They got the response out of it. And, in a lot of these ways, it by having a body cam, by having you like being able to do that, there's an argument that it actually takes a very powerful tool from a police officer in their ability to actually get somebody to basically incriminate themselves, and it makes it more difficult for them to prevent crime and solve crime. And that's part of it that you should definitely. And I don't know where I sit on that. I don't know. I mean, because I've definitely been in situations in my past where I have been approached by police officers who have used their mind tactics on me, and like were trying to get me to confess to things I hadn't done, and like it was one of those things where but it was a very powerful tool because you're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll go then, and like, but it's. And I understand what they were trying to do. And there were definitely times when I was the one who had done the thing and then I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just like, I was just like, because at a very young age, like my older brother told me at a young age, don't ever talk to cops. Like he told me that, like repeatedly, like you said, your father told you that, like, just keep your mouth shut and don't talk. So
video on YouTube that says, don't ever talk to the police.
Yeah. The guy that did that video is the guy that writes the book.
It can be 100% innocent of anything and get caught up in something.
It's a fantastic video. I've said before, you can you can download the Kindle version or the PDF version of his book. Like you have, it's like you have the right to remain silent or something like that, and it's well worth a read. And it's actually like he does a very good in-depth dive into the power of the Fifth Amendment and how actually courts nowadays are actually trying to subvert it. Like there's been, like in Texas, pleading the Fifth can be reasonably used. The Supreme Court in Texas decided that if you plead the Fifth, that can be reasonably used as you being
that can be like that person must have committed the crime or something like that. Like it's like actually like totally surprised the person.
Is that?
Admitting to it. Yeah.
So anyway, not to go off that. That's something you should think about, Forrest. The fact that like
I do. I think it's a really good point, but I'm building my campaign on the premise that I am going to be trying to make it so that every single decision that I make and everything I want to bring to the table to discuss with everybody in city council is going to have a direct line on how I think it is going to help people who are living paycheck to paycheck or worse. And I think while, yes, you are making a good point that it could make potentially the city a little bit more dangerous as some of these people might be able to escape, as now we're taking part of their toolbox, a tool out of their toolbox. I think the amount of good that it will do is just going to massively overwhelm it. I think with that sort of argument, we are getting lost in the forest for the trees or whatever the hell that expression.
Never give up good to chase perfect or something like that, or don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Perfection is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually something that I really want to take to heart if I end up getting on city council is, if I'm going to have to negotiate with people, I want to be like, okay, we're going to get some stuff done. It's not everything I want to get done, but if we can get halfway there, that's a hell of a start, and it's going to change people's lives potentially.
Hey. Not it. Win.
I can run until the day I die.
When you cut your hair.
Well, yeah, when are you gonna cut your hair and start wearing suits?
You should video that.
I have a suit hanging up next to me because I shot a video and everybody's like, "You're totally unprofessional." I was like, "All right, I'll throw on a fucking suit for you, fuck."
But no tie.
I know. Oh yeah,
and cut the hair.
You'll need to cut your hair.
Here's the thing: your hair will grow back after you're done with all this.
Well, my wife has said if I put it in a tight ponytail, she said that could fly.
I don't know. That looks really kind of goofy, druggy hipster.
Not in this country.
It is stupid and it is dumb. You shouldn't have to do it.
And you got to do it.
But it is
like a coastal city. You might be able to pull it off.
I know you're right, but I have not gotten there yet. I've gotten to the point where I'm going to wear the suit and I'm going to wear the nice pants whenever I go out. Even though I only have one nice suit, one nice pair of pants, I'm going to wear those out.
That makes people.
But here's also the deal. You realize that you're probably going to have to go back to a lot of your old videos and possibly put them on unlisted or something. If you think like the old guard or whatever, like you'd be running against, thinks they're going to lose, like somebody's going to know. There's a video of him without his shirt on, like blabbering about rednecks or whatever. That will be fodder for them.
Well, here's the thing, Lance. I would agree, but at the city council level, most of the time people don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think three of the seats, nobody even ran against the other people. But if it did go something bigger, yes, I would have to go through the 2,000 plus videos I've shot and maybe take away, like the solo game where I took 8 shots and almost threw up in a trash can, or the Trump game where I set the Trump game on fire and danced around. Or I'll have to go back and I'll have to.
What did I?
Let me ask you this question. Two things here. If you would if you would lose the election because either A, you didn't cut your hair, or B, because you didn't delete those videos, would you wish you had done either of those things?
Wow.
If it were that close and I knew it,
that's a good way to put it.
That's a really good question. Because
I think Lance needs to run for office.
That's a fantastic question.
Has there ever been
yes, I would, because
election?
Well, I mean, it runs in Lance's family, as I recall.
Oh, yeah. I would say yes, because $22,000 over 4 years, $88,000 being pumped into my house over the course of 4 years is absolutely transformative.
You should have me delete this Alaboom, because if somebody actually came back, look, all he wants to do it is for the money.
Well, no, Lance, I'm going to lean into that. I am like the people that are going, I'm hoping to get to vote for me. I know how much $22,000 could do, and I want to make changes that are going to help you, but they're also going to help me because I'm at the same level that you are. I live paycheck to paycheck from time to time, and that's why I have your best interest in mind. I'm not. I don't vote in
your district. You don't have to campaign to me. So don't. But here's
anyone, damn it, at any time.
Here's your video. You need to look at your district. You need to look at your district, and you need to look at something very, very important. And you need to request and get the voter turnout and by age
by race and by all those factors.
I actually have looked into all that, and actually a good friend of mine who is a Republican running for city council showed that to me, and it's amazing. Those statistics are incredibly high.
I don't know, but I mean, but one of the things is who votes more than anybody?
Old people vote.
Old people vote.
Yeah, I need to find a policy that I can really hang my hat on when it comes to old people.
And if you come up there and I'm saying and what to more, I mean, admittedly, in 2 years, there's definitely there's a changing of the guard with older people. Definitely, I mean, the hippies are getting old and they are retaining their liberal beliefs. So, I mean, there's a changing of the guard there, but there are still a lot of old people, and there's a lot of old people who are very conservative in the way they think, and if they see hippie Forrest, with his videos of him, puking up shots.
Oh, those old ass people living at the retirement community I'm talking to are not going through Bowers Game Corner 20.
No, but your opponent, if you are creating any kind of threat, will put those on local television.
Yeah,
maybe.
I will cross that.
Call Oppo.
And this
research.
I'm not saying this to be mean to you in any way, shape, or form. I am saying this to you because you seem very passionate. You want to do this, but you are very passionate and want to do this about the things that you want to do, not the things that are causing you friction and causing you like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to cut my hair. I don't really want to have to wear a suit. You're like, all of it matters, not just the stuff that's easy. The stuff that's tough matters too.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it, but he's also, I imagine, Forrest, you're reticent to do it because you feel like that would be counter to your authentic campaign.
Yes.
You want to present yourself as you are, warts and all, because you think that will make you a more authentic and likable candidate.
That only works in the movies.
Slick suit dude. Right?
It only work in the movies, Lance, but I'm gonna find out for myself. And I've already bent the knee on the clothing. I'm probably gonna go to Goodwill and get some more nicer clothing, and I will get a haircut because it's gonna get hot in the summer, and I'll be like, well, 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll cut the damn hair, have it looking nice. I'm gonna get the presentation up. I'm gonna try and fake it till I make it, but I definitely do want to keep some of the rough edges. But I do agree with you. I do need to go through. And I need to unlist certain videos, probably about 50, maybe more.
50?
Around
Whatever.
Maybe 100.
and I'll get the email. Can you please unlist all the Alabooms that I was on, please?
It is so much content to possibly go through for me, and I have an idea what I'm looking for. I can't even, because it is literally, I think I have 2,800 videos.
Just here, Forrest, let me ask you this. The person theoretically that you'll run against, this person has been on the city council for how long?
He's been on there for 12 years. He's ran unopposed the last 2 times.
Okay. So I guarantee you that person does not want to lose. That is like the career city councilman. Like, and if you even dig a slight bit into his his voter base, they're not going to want to change. He, as you say, that extra 22 grand, that guy has been seeing that extra 22 grand for 12 years, and he ain't going to want to give that up.
Yeah.
He's your councilman jam.
Yeah.
The worst part about it is that I want to attack him on his record, and our city is just fucking terrible when it comes to keeping records. Like, you have to manually go into everything, and it just pisses me off because I know that from what I've been told, his attendance record is not up to snuff with some of the other people too. So I'd like to hit him on some of that, but there's no good way to look at it without going through hundreds and hundreds of videos. So, yeah.
How do you run for this? Like, what do you do? Like, do you just sign up?
Yes. In my local city, I don't need to collect signatures or anything like that, which I was actually a little bit bummed about because that was going to be a good opportunity to meet a lot of people. I just have to sign up for it. I'm going to learn a lot more about it actually in 9 days. So I'm sure that episode of the Alaboom I'll have more to answer.
Is this the election here?
No. It's a Democratic boot camp that's in Fort Wayne, for the Fort Wayne Democrats, and I'm going to be going there. They're going to take headshots because I'm also running for something in this election. I'll actually be on the ballot running for delegate, which is kind of a do-nothing job from everything I've read about it. But yeah, I'm still really early in the process. Like you guys are like, yeah, you need to do this and this, and I agree. But I am like, I'm a month into it
right now.
Yeah, and I'm not running for city council until 2023, but I know it's going to fly by.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the illegal immigrants?
By the what?
Illegal immigrants.
Well, we actually Fort Wayne is a really unique thing because we have a huge immigrant population from what is it? I want to say Somalia maybe or something. It's someplace kind of odd. I personally in Indiana, it's not going to come up that much, but for me personally, I do believe that America was built on immigrants. We should be letting these people in, and we should be legalizing them. We should be getting them to pay taxes and do everything just like regular Americans. And I think we're missing out on a lot by not doing that. So yeah, I think we should be letting them in because I mean, it's some crazy statistic that like 30% of all Fortune 500 companies are run by an immigrant. It's like, why wouldn't we want that?
I know the answer to
actually fucking. I was talking about Canadian geese.
Oh, Canadian geese? Well, fuck him with the damn. All right, I hate geese. Oh.
You had them where you were, Scott?
Is the person in the current council Democrat or Republican?
I'm running up against a Republican who's he has an upstate. His big thing is he's fiscally responsible Republican, and he focuses on the roads. Like that's his bread and butter. He wants to save the money, make sure we got the money just in case of emergency, and he wants to make sure the roads are good, and he banks pretty much on that, and it works well. I mean, not to mention our town has been just absolutely exploding growth-wise over the last 12 years, which I see as part of the problem because we're focusing on
inspired that growth. I mean, that's why people like him.
Well, but the problem is we're leaving so many people behind because we're focusing too much. Like we just spent $20 million on a park last year. When I mean, it's a great park, but it could have been allocated so many different ways. Like we've got a lot of other problems, and our crime rate is it's getting really bad. Like we had.
How do you solve the crime rate then?
Well, wait, what'd you say?
How do you lower the crime rate?
You lower the crime rate by digging deep, and we need to start. A couple of things I got is we need to get we need to start working with high schoolers and middle schoolers. We need to start teaching sexual education. This is going to be one of the ones that's really unpopular with a lot of people and really popular. We need to start teaching kids about sexual education in 8th grade. Right now, at our lowest income school, our highest poverty school, they teach kids about sexual education their sophomore year. And it is a health class the same way they teach alcoholism or about marijuana or something. It is a fucking joke, especially when you look into the numbers and realize that 36% of these sophomores have already had sex and we're not even fucking teaching them about it.
How backwards is your state? North Dakota teaches, it's like it's 5th grade. You get sex education.
I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It is red as hell. But that's
North Dakota hasn't voted Democrat in over 75 years. And that's since FDR.
Well, we had Mike Pence, which really knocked us back about 30 years.
Well, I mean, that's just crazy. I can remember being in 5th grade and reading in the book, the man puts his penis in the woman's vagina and then they love each other. Nope. I remember reading that.
I want to get an automotive program I want to start an automotive program in particular in that one school where that's the kind of thing where we can teach them how to work on vehicles. But at the same time, those vehicles would be vehicles that people would say, I can't afford to fix my car. I'll send it here. They'll be like, all right, it'll be ready in 2 weeks, but it will be fixed for free. I want to set up homeless camps. I want to set up parking.
Oh, the Democrat comes in and wants to spend all the surplus.
I realize, even the pebble dropped into the bottle raises the water up so you can drink. I get that, but I mean, it's like you do realize that the process to have somebody say, "Oh, I need the brakes fixed on my car," and then the whole process of you trying to
get that car into that school, and then whatever liability and whatever else you have to do to take care of that is going to end up costing
It's a good
way.
idea.
Yes,
Like,
I understand.
then if you just walked over and said, you need your brakes fixed, here's $300. Go to Midas and have it done. I mean, that would be a better program.
You're not investing in the future. I'm trying to look at this as a long-term perspective, and I don't give a fuck about spending our money that we're trying to save for, rainy day fund. Obviously we want to keep $10, $15 million in there, but we don't need $30 million in a rainy day fund. That money could be making pennies on the dollar if we invested in our fucking future, and for some goddamn reason, we don't seem to understand that. And it just pisses me off.
Forrest, I don't know if you just picked up on it, but Lance just came out in favor of UBI.
No. I mean, I've never been against
Yeah,
that.
you give me $300 to go fix your
You're
brake.
either for it or you're against it.
I'm not against it. I've just been like, I hate when people just say UBI, and then they say, wouldn't that be great? And it's like nobody ever actually thinks about how is this going to be implemented? How are you actually going to make this work?
Yeah. He wrote an entire book about it, in fact.
Yang did. I'm not saying anything that Yang didn't do it. I'm just saying that I am way too tired of people that have these grandiose ideas and solutions. And I'm not talking about a guy like Yang. I'm talking about some yokel trying to, talking my ear off at the Subway shop, trying to tell me about how they're going to fix it. It's like they don't have any idea how it's going to be implemented. They have no idea how it's going to work.
Okay, Lance, I will. If you're the guy at the sub shop, I will tell you right now the 3 steps that I think we could absolutely do that would be simple to lower our crime rate. First,
and then I will listen to you. And then what website?
Are you guys going to want to do this for longer, or like you got anything?
We'll be done right after this 3.
I gotta go.
You can't go.
Let me know.
Decriminalize marijuana. Decriminalize.
You guys later.
Segue the police other way. Later, Scott. Oh wait, I want to secret it.
Oh, hey, you politics. You drove them off.
You asked the questions. And then
Is he still in the green room?
For misdemeanors. So that's 3 tangible ways we're gonna lower the crime rate, because we're gonna stop ruining lives and stop sending people to jail where they're just gonna sit there and their lives are gonna get ruined, and then they're gonna have to turn to crime. They cost next to not. There's very little money to implement into those, and yeah. Now that Scott's gone, let's talk about something else.
Well, if Scott will allow me, if he's listening still, I can share the secret after we go offline. I can give him the message. Well, it's midnight anyway, so maybe we should think about getting done. So it's been time for sleepy time, and then oh yeah, look at it. Oh right, message you when you were done. Well, let's tell Scott if you're still yeah, there you go. Secret Illuminati stuff coming up. Thanks everybody for paying attention, listening to us talk. Forrest, I'm your biggest proponent, but yeah.
It's early days. He's got work to do.
I got a lot of polishing. I gotta polish this turd.
Yeah, you do. And you are a wondrous turd. I'll tell you that. But all right. Good night, everybody. And you are a wondrous turd. I'll tell you that.
Wondrous. Second time.